Well, hello there, and welcome to this 34th edition of the Echo Chamberlain livestream. My friends, these are not the best of times. In an atmosphere of greasy cant and corrupt sleaze, of shameless exhibitionism, sanctimonious histrionics, the apotheosis of a desiccated culture of vulgar philistinism, of stymieing dullness, a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah of gigantic foam fingers and kiss cams, insipid pop, endlessly repeating outlet stores, food courts serving high cholesterol slop. The land of manifest destiny and the shining city on the hill has given way to a debt epidemic, an obesity epidemic, a homelessness epidemic, an opioid epidemic, a gun violence epidemic, and a loneliness epidemic, of failed institutions, ruptured social norms, spiritual atrophy, and a prevailing sense that we no longer heed the better angels of our nature, that we are no longer our brother's keeper, that the arc of history does not bend toward justice, that the center cannot hold, and that we watch on, numbed by the dopamine hits of social media amid a rising cesspool of identity politics. In the midst of such malaise, it falls upon the shoulders of my first guest to lift not merely my spirits, but yours, a man who in a world off kilter has the integrity and the sheer will to stir us from our torpor, resolutely and undeniably, anything less than which would be a catastrophic letdown and the hardening of our hearts against ourselves and each other, and most of all against him, here to make our spirits soar or crush them in this one last teetering moment upon which everything depends, is Mr. Greg Owen.
I'm here for you, and I have just the thing. Actually, I have a joke for you. Did you hear the one about the 3 holes in the ground?
No. I didn't hear about that one.
Well. You know what? You're right.
What?
The world is not in a good state. Did you know the company that makes the meter sticks, they're not going to make them any longer?
Should we just end the stream now?
This is the best I can do to help you out. I don't know. I have nothing else but dad jokes to bring joy to the world. If that doesn't work, we're truly screwed. Do you know when a door is not a door, Echo?
When it's ajar.
That is correct.
All right, good. Well, we're all enjoying a video on gaming and how those sleazy, corrupt people will pilfer every dollar out of your pocket with their greasy, slimy, horrible fingers. So I appreciate that. Yeah. I think your microphone is maybe not the best it could be, so maybe have a little fiddle with that while I bring up the second guest. All right. Well, in December last year, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol declared martial law, accusing the opposition of collaborating with North Korea and suspending political activity and press freedom. No one could point to this provocation or that escalation and say definitively that my next guest's fingerprints were all over it. But is there not very nearly a suggestion that is exactly what you would expect from him? And when authorities arrested Yoon at his residence in a dramatic operation involving ladders and wire cutters and social unrest followed, does it not have the Machiavellian contours of dissent and disorder, the shaping of a power vacuum that is quintessentially my next guest? And when investigators filed formal charges accusing Yoon of leading an insurrection and abuse of power, and a snap presidential election was held in June, triggering new special counsel investigations, was this not the very ideal circumstance for democracy to die in darkness, for the weak and the vacillations to be positioned to be swept away? Is there not, if you will, a kind of insidious elegance to it all? We might very well ask this, but he couldn't possibly comment. He is. Despot of Antrim.
I won't comment, but since Greg did a dad joke, I have a joke for you, which I'm going to say in Korean. So if there are any Korean listeners, let us know in the chat what you think of my joke. So, 미국에서 내리는 비 뭐라고요? USB. All right, so if you got that, let us know in the chat.
Hopefully one person in the chat will get that. There's always one person. Yeah, Greg loves it, but he's muted, so we can't hear his chortling and giggling. Greg, sort out your technology. Jesus. All right. Well, now to our final guest, and this is always easy because I have this this pre-prepared intro all ready to go. It's Robot Head.
Thank God. Thank God I was feeling the pressure that I was going to have to listen to you and actually think about what you were saying. So I like that you just do the video intro to keep it easy and, the pressure, I can relax.
Yeah, it was just, you get the benefit of being in the media assets section, so I just have to push one button and taken care of. Now,
maybe I should be offended that you care so little.
No, but we're all dying to know, because what's it like getting the keys back to your channel, and how much of an ordeal was it? We need to know. So tell us everything that happened from the very beginning.
Oh my God, I won't bore everyone with the full details, but yes, the channel was taken, and getting it back, it was just time consuming, but it was all done within about 24 hours. But you have to answer 500 emails and sort of be ready to get back to Google as much as possible. But if it happens to anyone, the only thing you can do is go on Twitter and contact Google through Team YouTube and wait for them to contact you and then start the process. So it's,
I thought it was a bit of a worry, because doesn't it kind of favor bigger channels a little bit? Like if you're a little tiny channel, you can't send out a tweet and then have, thousands of people by sheer bulk of strength and signal boost to get YouTube to take notice. So what if you're just a little guy and you don't have that kind of profile? What happens to that?
Well, and it gets sort of worse the lower you go down, because they take your whole Google account. So how they start. So you lose your Google account. If you don't have a YouTube channel, they don't even care that someone take your Google account. So they're not even going to help you. If you have a YouTube channel, then you've got, I'm guessing, to do with money, and maybe even if you're not making any money off YouTube, you wouldn't get any help. But yeah, the bigger you are, the definitely easier it is to, get them on board. But once you do contact them, they're pretty good at trying to help. So surprisingly, but it's getting in contact with them. So now that I'm in contact with them, I'm asking them as many questions as possible before I lose that link, because I'll never hear from them again. So it's but when you realize, luckily the Google account I use for the channel, I don't really use for anything else. But I noticed it because my Google Home, some of the lights I couldn't turn on, and that was the first indicator that on my phone I had open the account that the channel's linked to, and so that was the account that had logged into my Google Home, and then so it didn't recognize me. So that's the world we're living in. I realized that I couldn't turn on a light. Oh no, my career's over.
That's unbelievable. So did you find out who it was? Was it some random people in Nigeria or Somalia or something who were taking over and then thus controlling the lights to your house?
Well,
or the LEDs in your pool? That's even worse.
It'd be scary if your whole life was on there, like your diary of what you're doing, when you're going on holidays, when you're going to be out of the house, like, because they get access to your diary, they get all your photos, they get everything. Like I said, luckily I don't use that account for anything else. Pardon me. And what was going to be my point? I was getting to somewhere there about that.
Well, who did you find out who it was?
Oh, yes. No, but luckily I found a video of a girl that had happened to like 3 days earlier, before, some makeup channel. I should know her name and thank her, because everything she said in her video was the exact same thing that had happened to me, and she even explained how to get it back. And so they actually do it because they want the YouTube channel, which surprised me. I thought it would be for banking details or something, but I don't know if they sell the channel off, or she said she had people streaming crypto scheme streams on her channel, that night. And the exact same thing happened to me. I think they sell the channel off. I'm not sure, but I don't know how they make money or why it's worth all the effort to go through to get it.
Desmond, how much would you pay for Robot Head's channel?
Yes, I don't know.
What would be your ceiling? How much would you pay?
Depends who it is. Yeah, it depends who it is. If it's to shut me up, like if Disney want to shut me up, then I want some big bucks. Yeah. So
if I could buy your channel with like 370,000 subs, and I could just use AI to replicate your voice and generate videos, I'd pay $10,000 for that.
it's yours. Is that a deal?
Yeah, I think that's a deal. So we'll sort it out in the green room afterwards. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I have no idea why they do it, but I don't know why they think. I mean, maybe some people start watching the crypto stream and jump on board. I don't know. It's so odd, but it would be way scarier if you didn't have that connection to YouTube, or your whole world was on there, your whole life. Like you could have, because they get everything, and all this second, confirming it's you bullshit that you set up with Google all means zero.
Yeah,
because they just the first thing you notice is like you get, well, because I wasn't on the computer at the time, jumped on the computer, and I just missed 10 emails telling me that your security password's been changed, your phone backup's been changed,
God,
backup, email's been changed. So none of that means anything at all. So once they're in, they just go in and change all your contact details, and then you're stuffed.
Nasty. Well, we're all glad that you're still with us. That's the main thing. And I was kind of heartened, and I'm sure you were too, by the outpouring of affectionate support and sharing of the tweets and stuff. I thought that was nice. Everyone,
honestly, that it is very touching, and so many people do it, and people you have occasional contact with, or you only know on Twitter and things like that. It's it was amazing, really amazing. So I have to remember that. So if anyone ever needs help, it's good to reach out and help people. So
well, you have extremes of karma. You have extremes of karma because you've got 1,000 people on one end who despise you because of your Star Wars comments, but you've also got 500 people on the other side who will chip in. So that's extremes of karma.
Could be more than 1,000. I'm not sure. But if it happens to anyone, please contact me, and I'll guide you through what to do, because it's a pain in the ass, but it does work. So.
All right, well, great. Well, we're just going to wait for Greg to reemerge. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe some domestic stuff was happening.
No, they've hacked his channel. He's going to start streaming advice in a second.
Well, this is quite extraordinary, really, because I didn't go see this film. And I thought this was going to be a burden, a huge chore. I've got to do it for the channel. It's part of the zeitgeist. It's my audience would expect it. But then a moment of rapturous, cathartic cleanliness and clearing, I just thought, I couldn't be asked. I'm not going to go see the film. I just couldn't be bothered. And I felt really good. And I walked outside and the sun was out. And I thought, I've made a good, positive decision. And
in my head, it's like one of those films where, the internet goes down something, all the kids come outside to enjoy the day. I imagine myself on the other side of the road coming out at the exact same time and us seeing each other and waving that we've decided not to go see this film. We're released.
Yeah, I know. So I felt really good about that. So, Desperate, when you actually went to see the film, how degraded did you feel? How horrible did you, when you're slumped in your seat and you're feeling uncomfortable and flatulent and horrible?
It was no. It was a watchable movie. It struck me as very mid on first viewing, and the more I think about it, just the worse it gets. I think this movie's rubbish, man. Really, it has redeeming aspects, but it's so tame in many areas where it really could have gone hard, and the villain is terribly, he's so dumb and unthreatening. I just think it's rubbish, man. I know that a lot of people like it. I know it's getting glazed a lot. It's not as bad as Thunderbolts. It's not as bad as Captain Cape shit, but it's just another Marvel slap movie to me. I just think it's shit.
Well,
I could go into detail on it, but
term come into the culture. It's like in the last 6 months or so, and it's become embedded.
I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot. Like it shows up on my YouTube comments occasionally when people say, "Yeah, I like this video until you started glazing Will Smith," or something like that. By the way, I didn't glaze Will Smith, just so we know. Okay, I pardoned him because last year he did a pretty decent Bad Boys movie, and then he went and fucked that up with his song. Did you hear his song?
No,
I've heard all the songs.
It's shocking. It's incredible how out of touch these people can become.
Which is worse.
They can watch that music video and think, "Yeah, bang, and let's release that."
There was the girls one, but did you see the one where he was playing all the parts and going through everything that happened to him? And he's meant to be in a barber shop, He's
I
totally.
Can't watch it. I can't watch
I've never seen a crash so hard, and and he's just saying how great he is, how he could fit everyone's house in his pool.
His head
so
disappeared up his own arse, God knows how many years ago, and he's just living in his own weird wee reality where this stuff makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
And
part of that song is
relatable guy. It's strange.
Oh, his wife's wrecked him. She's absolutely destroyed him. So, when your wife's out there talking about having sex with your son's friends,
she has no filter, that woman. She's just talking blithely about how their bedroom has like a secret entrance portal room into like a naughty dungeon and stuff. She has no filter, that woman. Strange.
And in the song, he sings about how you'd all kill to have a woman like that on your side, and it's like, no, Will, we wouldn't. No one knows, Will, what you do and why you're with her. Just bloody leave her.
I think he peaked musically with I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson back in the 90s. Anyway, so Greg, you went to see this film, of course, with The Brute. Robot and I were just chatting blithely about how good we feel in our psyche and our soul and our character and our identity in the fact that we didn't go see this film. And so what were your thoughts?
I don't think you're missing out. I don't think it's like a bad movie. And I think that I'm encouraged that between this and Superman is not trying to be edgy or morally gray or whatever. We're not doing that. He's just a good guy. I don't think they stuck the landing quite that great, but I'm glad. And then in this one, Sue is kind of leading the group, but I think they did it in a way that should make sense. And I like that her strength comes from like the primal power of motherhood or whatever, and not just I am woman and all these guys suck. Yeah, Mate said it's a step in the right direction. Didn't love this one. Nobody I was with loved it, but nobody hated it either. It's just it's all right. It's not the worst. I think you can have a good time with it, but
that's Hollywood now, isn't it? Everything's just all right, and you wonder how, like all the money they spend, all the trouble they go to, like, and it's just it's all right. No one remembers anything. We all move on. It's weird.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with a lot of these movies, even when they're nominally mid. Like Fantastic Four, they feel like they've been pieced together from previous movies. It's just a bunch of tropes you've seen before. I'll give you an example because I don't just want to leave that hanging in the air. In this movie, the bad guy is a big evil being who is going from planet to planet and consuming the planet and moving on to the next planet. That's the Marvel's villain. It's the same thing that happened in the Marvel. She goes to one planet and she destroys it. Then she goes to the next planet and she's trying to consume all these resources from the planet. And by the time she gets to Earth,
that's exactly right.
The heroes have figured out a way to stop her. It's over, Ben. And even that line, it's over. That comes in Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts has that exact line, and Thunderbolts has a scene where the good guys go up to the evil villain in a bar and they tell her it's over. That exact scene showed up in the first Avengers movie. It's just a bunch of dramatic beats we've all seen a million times, and that's what Fantastic Four felt to me. There was a little bit of I won't say originality, but maybe things that have been done before, but a long time ago. So you actually see a woman holding a baby. Like, Jesus Christ, a Hollywood movie showing a woman with a baby. That's quite incredible. Yeah. Showing that women are actually women and they occasionally have sex with men. Again, that's quite amazing. Hollywood. Well done. I will give the movie points for that. And it was nice to see a mom superhero protecting her baby. That was nice. But beyond that, outside of that, like you look at Galactus and the Silver Surfer, they're just really bad Marvel villains. Like Malekith or Malachi or whatever that fucking thing was called from Thor: The Dark World, or any number of other shitty Marvel villains. It was just reminiscent of that. A really dumb, really nerfed villain who just sort of waits around and doesn't do anything until the Fantastic Four have figured out their plan completely, and then he attacks. And they have all these options, but they don't consider any of them, and they have this plan to transport the Earth, which, let's not get into that. It's a dumb idea. I mean, I understand if you have to choose between being wiped out by a space god or transporting the Earth without the moon. Okay, well, we'll take the Earth away without the moon. But yeah, like Joshua here says, agreed, Despot, Galactus is wasted. At least he looks accurate and cool. He does look cool, and he does have a great voice, I'll say that. But yeah, very wasted. And
can I ask you a question? If a god's coming to destroy your world, where are you going to hide it? Where were they planning on moving it to? Like,
I think they just said
God
he
just
can't
going to
find
turn
it,
up and
be away, and then he won't find it. I think that's all they said.
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
without the moon, you'll get lots of earthquakes. I actually looked it up. You get like 200-kilometer-per-hour winds. So wherever they go in this new solar system, they have to find in the Goldilocks zone, right? Relative to where Earth was, they have to find a rock the same size as the moon. A little planet the same size as the moon, and capture it as a satellite. Otherwise, it won't work, and that has to be in the Goldilocks zone. If they do that, it would be an okay plan. But even if they can't do that, they transport the Earth, and then the human civilization basically regrades to like a Stone Age because of all the earthquakes and the floods and the massive winds and the tilt of the Earth. It would destroy civilization, but humanity would still survive. So there's that. Although it would have been interesting if they'd gone into that, if they'd said, if you move the Earth without the moon, we'll lose our civilization. We'll just end up, billions will die. And he said, look, it's either that or we'll be wiped out. That would have been really interesting. A dilemma, but they
Cool
keep
film.
it very simple and dumbed down. It's like Hollywood are afraid to go cerebral with their movies. It's always just dumb slop now.
Well, you can see what they're going for. Like, it's got the structure, and if you explain what they're doing, you think it should work. What they're going for is that Galactus is not. He's supposed to be this big, giant, world-ending threat, and what is supposed to be happening is that it's supposed to cast into sharp relief what really matters. The small things, the little connections between you and the people in your hometown and your family and your child. And like the big giant threat is supposed to clarify the small stakes, and they're supposed to work off of each other. Like that's what they're going for. The execution was not there. I was not feeling the connection between the Fantastic Four as a family. And so when they really went to, guys, we're what matters. Our bond is what matters. I thought, I felt more bond between the Fast and the Furious gang, honestly, than these folks. Like that was the core issue. Is I don't think Galactus was ever supposed to be a big villain. He was just supposed to be a big threat to make their connection matter to the audience. But it just I don't know if the actors didn't have chemistry. I don't know if there was something lost in the writing. I have a strong feeling there was a lot missing in the editing, because I had mentioned how we went from Reed being, kind of mildly like the autistic intelligent guy to suddenly all I ever do is think about the worst. I'm a terrible child, don't be like me, I'm so awful. And there was no connecting piece like showing him doing that. He just said it. So I think that there was supposed to be a lot more, but they chopped it all apart, and then you're missing what makes you care about any of it.
That's also not a thing you can criticize in a character who sits down and thinks about all the worst opportunities. I mean, the military have a word for that. It's called wargaming. It's like, here are our resources. What happens if we use them and go to war with somebody else? And you consider all the scenarios. Companies have that. And troubleshooters will think about stuff like that. It's a job. It's a normal thing people do. You have to consider all the worst possibilities. And I'm sure we all do that as YouTubers. It's like, okay, if I use this thumbnail and title, it's going to be shit and no one's going to watch the video, as like what happened with Greg's video today, which is a great video. And you should go watch it. But the thumbnail was not great.
We're going to work on that.
Nobody watched it, but you should go watch it.
I got time to fix it, I think.
You guys, there's a modern phenomenon. I want to see if you guys experience it as well. I call it name fade, where in modern films, I don't know the names of probably 3/4 of the people on screen. You guys experience that as a modern phenomenon?
I'll tell you a problem I had with this movie. It's presenting itself as more of a character drama than an action movie, and I have no problem with that. In fact, I recently did a review of 28 Days Later, which is currently blocked by Disney, along with 14 other reviews in that same video. And but don't worry, Disney, I disputed it, and Disney, their case is so weak that they won't even respond to the dispute. So it's just going to expire, and the video will come back on July 20th or something. Or sorry, August 20th. Anyway, so these characters in this, if you want to make a character drama, great, I'm all in. 28 Days Later, it has lots of action, but the reason I love that movie is because I love the characters. I think they make a great cast. They combine really well, and they play well off each other, and they have great chemistry. Just fantastic characters. It's great character drama. If those were bad characters, the movie wouldn't work. Like 28 Weeks Later has a lot more action, but it's an abysmal movie. But let's not talk about 28 Weeks Later. In the case of the Fantastic Four, these characters are just okay. Like, they're not bad. They're not unlikable, and they're differentiated enough. Probably Reed Richards is the best one, actually. I think Pedro Pascal was great in this. But they're not enough, they're not enough of themselves. Like, I need Ben to be a bit more, I won't say depressed, because depressed male characters are a cliche, but certainly I would need to see more exploration of his psychology. For example, he's kind of falling in love with this woman. It's this weird subplot that is just abandoned. It's like what Greg was saying. There was a lot of stuff left in the cutting room floor. This is one of them. That subplot with Ben and the girl, it goes absolutely nowhere. And it's like, what happened? That was just dropped. The movie just dropped it. It was weird that they even had it in there. So a bit more of Ben's psychology. And then Johnny Storm, he needs to be a bit more James Bond and, a bit more aggressive in his behavior and a bit more of a womanizer. We need more of everything. And Sue is just kind of bland. She's a bit of a digestive biscuit of a character. I just need her personality to be a bit more, not extreme, but a bit more emphasized. So it's all just a bit bland. And the movie doesn't have much action at all, except for the end. And the end is just the Fantastic Four fighting against this giant space god. And it's not very exciting. So if you don't have much action, that's fine. But I really need great characters to substitute for that. And this movie didn't give me that. So I was bored a lot of the time.
I reckon the problem is that they make these films without a clear idea, and then they're trying to complete the film in the edit, or even create the film in the edit. Like you're saying, there's so much of the story just disappears, and they get so bland, because I don't reckon they're going in with this clear idea, so they overshoot everything, overspend on everything, and then just try and piece together these films in the edit room. I think hearing that George Lucas's wife saved, Star Wars in the edit has affected too many of these people, and they think, well, if we just shoot enough, we'll just save this in the edit, and you get these boring films that don't make sense. No one goes in with a clear idea of what they want to say in a precise 2 hours, and that's what we're going to shoot.
Well, let's do the numbers. So 117 million for the opening weekend, and 217 global. So let's assume that the production budget's around 200, 225. And then you're going to double that with the marketing costs. So you're pushing maybe like 450 for that. And so, let's see. So 217 global. So it's about halfway to reaching that target. And if you assume a 50% drop off in the second week, which I don't think is unreasonable, then I think this is going to really struggle to break even if you factor in all the costs for how much the cinemas are going to take as a percentage, which I think is like 30 or 40% and 60% internationally. It's performing really badly in China. They're not really into this kind of superhero stuff as much as they used to be. Yeah. So I don't think either of these are really successes in any kind of meaningful sense. So I guess what I tried, well, that's the wrong thing. I'll remove that. So let's try it here. So I tried to do like a Chamberlain scale. And let's see where we're going to put it. So on the left-hand side, moving up, you've got conspicuous failure, creatively, financially, and culturally. Then mid-quality, poor reception, studio concerned. Then mildly positive, financially dubious, studio unclear. Then generally positive, reception over the line financially. Positive reviews, box office okay, studio optimistic. Then strong cultural impact, DCU or MCU revived. Solid profit, or major success, strong moneymaker, studio delighted. So where do you chaps think this is gonna figure out?
For Fantastic Four, it's gonna go to 11 o'clock.
You go to 11 o'clock because I can do this.
It's gonna go mildly positive.
Nice.
Where do you want to put it?
Financially dubious and
11 o'clock.
Clear.
You think around here?
I think around there, yeah, because this actually came in. So Superman is basically a confirmed flop at this stage. That movie will be lucky to hit 600 million, and if it does, it's still a pretty bad flop. That thing needed 700 million just to pretend that they made money, just to sort of masquerade as a success, and they're not even going to get that. So that's a flop. Fantastic Four actually had a opening weekend behind Superman. Dan Murrell did the numbers on it, and he said it came in like $4 million behind Superman. And it was number 16 all-time opening Marvel movie. Not great. Not great at all.
And that was not adjusted for inflation. Once he adjusted for inflation, it was actually lower.
So I could see this one ultimately turning out to be I don't know how much money they spend on it. The production budget they said was 200 million. If you believe that, they might be able to claim a victory at the end, but not great.
Mm-hmm. So let's assume a week from now, where would we put this on the meter on this Chamberlain scale? Greg, what do you think?
I think where you had it right when you started, I thought was actually pretty close, or just like dead 12 o'clock, or maybe like a little after. I think it's not quite as doom and gloom, but I do think that with Marvel stuff, especially, the performance is partly about the movie itself and then partly about Marvel as a whole. It's one of the pros and cons of the MCU. The double-edged sword is that the fact that it's not doing well is not so much indicative about the movie. It's indicative about people's feelings about Marvel in general and the whole MCU. And they didn't really, I don't think they did a good enough job of advertising that this was a real standalone movie. And so people don't really know what's going on with the MCU. How do all the players fit in? Thunderbolts didn't do very well. Brave New World didn't do very well. Why should I show up for this one? They didn't make the case for why you should come and just watch this standalone mid-century modern kind of fun family character drama. But I do think it's getting a little positive word of mouth. I don't think that it's like MCU is back kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. But the issue with the character drama is that it's also not going to sell merch. It's not going to be, even if it doesn't make money, it's not going to be like a loss leader where it generates interest and it generates merch and it just helps the overall situation that they're in. So I think straight up noon is kind of where you're at there, 50%, because it's pretty positive reception. I think they're going to make $5, but it's not going to help the whole studio. It's not going to help the whole brand. And I don't think that it's going to, even the Fantastic Four aren't going to really go anywhere. You know, nobody's looking forward to, like, can't wait to see more of this. Can't wait to see more of Joseph Quinn's Johnny Storm, like, you know, because he wasn't the Chris Evans problematic, misogynistic, womanizing version. So, you know, thank God we did away with that.
Right. Serious question. Where are these studios making the money? Because we used to have these big films, the tentpole movies that would, you know, finance the studios across the year, and then they could release all their little films underneath. But it seems that which films are making money these days? Seems like it's all just a big con.
Well, F1 is making money. I don't know if we're talking about that one, but that's doing really, that's got legs. I think that one just crossed 500 or 600 globally or something. It's the issue with Disney and DC is that they can't make a movie for under 250 nowadays. And Disney can screw around with the spreadsheet and charge themselves $100 million to put their own movie on their own Disney Plus service and take it out of that pocket and show a profit or whatever. But at the end of the day, you guys are right. The whole, like, oh, we'll fix it in post. It's destroying them. But if they get back to making a $150 million movie, these would be doing great.
They can't make a TV show for under 250 these days.
Yeah, that's true. Some of these do make money, like just touching on Robot Head's point. So I'm looking at 2025 worldwide box office. Actually, do you know what? Fuck it. I'll just give it to Echo to share. Echo, that's in the private chat. Can you share that?
See if I can find it. Private chat.
Yeah, actually, hold on. I think I can share screen, actually. Hold on.
You can probably do it.
All right. So there you go. You've got Lilo and Stitch, over $1 billion. Now, I haven't watched it. I'll never watch it. I'm sure. Have you seen that, Greg?
There we go.
Greg, we can't hear you. Greg,
is muted.
Talk up.
I can't hear you.
Greg,
you're right. It's sort of like the How to Train Your Dragon thing. Like, partly, I think what they did, what I've heard sucks, but then also partly, I never saw the point of Lilo and Stitch or How to Train Your Dragon. I just think if they change something, I'm going to be mad because I like those movies. And if they keep them the same, I'm going to think, well, then what was the point? So they're in a no-win situation there, I think. I'm very shocked that they crossed $1 billion with that.
But I mean, that made a ton of money. Minecraft made a ton of money. Jurassic Slop, a ton of money. How to Train Your Dragon made money. Mission Impossible was a massive flop.
Terrible.
They always
Superman,
are. For the hype they get, it's crazy that Mission Impossibles lose money.
Like F1's made over 500 million, but it cost like between 250 and 300. So maybe it can crawl its way to a profit. But right now it's looking like it's not going to break even. So like the bottom 5 here are all flops. They're all losing money.
Do you think that they got money
number 11, Sinners, and 12, Final Destination? They made a ton of money. Yeah. 28 years later, made a lot of money. Snow White. Thank God that thing bombed. But yeah, that's that's where they it's a mixed bag at the minute.
Speaking of which, fucking hell. Done. Jesus Christ. Overloading me.
Problem today.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to get because I need to do Superman. So, Despot, run me through your thinking on this one.
It's a flop. It's a flop. At the minute, it is. I think I looked it up today. I think it was 500 something million, 504 million or something. I'll give you the exact number. So it's 503.6 million is what it's made, and this thing needed 700 million. With Fantastic Four out, I don't even think it'll get to 600. So I'm going to take an L on this one because I thought this would get to 700 million. Looks like it's not even. It might get to 600 million, but it's a flop, man. I think we're going to go for mildly positive, financially dubious, Studio One clear. Like it's more like 1050, not even 11.
Right, somewhere around there. What's your thoughts, Greg?
I think it's not quite straight up, but I think it's between mildly positive and generally positive. I think that the studio is going to call it a win because it didn't flop. Like it didn't crash and burn. Nobody hated it, and I think that it was good enough that it made money, and I think that they're going to feel that it at least keeps the Gunniverse alive, and it'll keep going. But
it succeeded as a delivery mechanism for everything that had to ensue from it. That was its main task, I think.
Yeah, I think that it just, I think it said, here's the Gunniverse, it's here, this is the new start. It declared that quite nicely. But I also think that I feel like Superman should be just an easy slam dunk. So it might be that they're pessimistic because, I mean, if you stick Superman in a movie, it should do well, and it barely did okay. So yeah, I think it kind of in between those 1142, I think is what I would maybe 1137, somewhere in that region.
The trouble with your clock is that you've connected positive reviews and negative reviews with how financial successful it's going to be. Like, where would you put Jurassic World on this? It's fucking garbage that I don't think anyone likes.
Hold on. From the studio perspective, it's just all the way over to the right because they don't give a shit how bad it is.
Yes, if this is the studio, then everything's to the right.
That's true. You've pointed out the flaw in my graphic here, but I'll adjust it for ensuing projects. Okay. So that's the Fantastic Four, which I luxuriated in not watching. A genuine pleasure for me. I was very happy about that.
Catch it.
It was too close to Superman for me. I can only take so much superhero movies in my life, and I'd seen Superman. That was the choice I made. It was too soon to go back in.
Before we move on, real quick, Despot, since you're the only one, if it was a gun to your head and you got to pick one, neither one's great. Do you think that Fantastic Four or Superman is the better film compared to each other?
Fantastic Four. It's not even close.
Really? I was going to lean Superman. I think Superman has more redeeming qualities in Mr. Terrific and Green Lantern. Like, I thought they were fun. There wasn't a lot about Fantastic Four that I found very fun. And neither one I felt had a lot of character connection, but I at least had more fun in Superman.
I mean, the thing with Superman is once you go in, it's absolutely riddled with plot holes. It's a mess. The world build doesn't really make sense. And I absolutely despised what James Gunn did with Lex Luthor. I hated it. So its highs are higher than Fantastic Four, but I think its lows are lower. And it's really a sort of, well, if you're, you can tolerate the lows and just enjoy the highs, but I cannot tolerate the lows in Superman. They're too low. Whereas
that's what we've come to talk about superhero films. That's what we can tolerate.
Either answer is right, really, when you think about it. But I cannot watch that movie ever again and have to fucking see like what they did to Lex Luthor. Just no. Let's
become like the school tuck shop. Like, which pie brand can you tolerate? Which has like been in the oven for
and they're all mushy and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have these little clumps of meat that you have to spit out.
And the pastry is hardened like rock around the edges, and there's that one gelatinous glob of meat that scorches the top of your mouth. So you got to choose which pie out of all the slop. So Starfleet Academy. Has anyone seen the trailer for this piece of garbage?
Yeah. The comments on that trailer are hilarious.
I mean, this is what's happened to Star Trek. It's almost hostile. It's
Do you know what it is?
It's a nastiness to
Star
it.
Trek. I was thinking about this. So the woke era is over. Like in my last video, I said that, and a lot of people were commenting saying the woke era is not over. We're still suffering it. And I'm not saying that woke content is over. It's not. We're still going to get it in the same way we still get superhero movies, but the superhero era ended in 2023 with all those big flops. Same kind of thing. And this is an example of we're still going to get woke shit, even though we're not in the era. And this movie strikes me as a kind of, and this is what I would compare. I think the Star Trek franchise is a bit like North Korea. So the USSR collapses, this whole notion that communism is ultimately going to triumph over the evil capitalist West. That doesn't work. That's never going to work. Communism has been defeated, but North Korea still hang on. You know, they're still hanging on to the communist dream and they're never going to let it go. They're somehow still hanging on. That is Star Trek. They will never, ever let go of woke. They are the North Korea of woke in Hollywood.
We're in that period now, which is going to be hilarious. And I think you're going to talk about another trailer today that's a very good example of this, of that Hollywood didn't realize how quickly woke was going to end. Yeah. So you're correct. It's over, but they just haven't realized. Yeah, plus they've got all these things in production that they've already started making and filming. So it's going to be an hilarious time to be talking about these things because they're going to be so out of touch with, you know, what the world's thinking. But, you know, they're trying to make, what's her name, a Nazi for selling jeans. And they don't, they don't realize
incredible
loving that. Yeah. And we're going to just be seeing this slop come out, for the word that's very popular now, of, old ideas that are just, you know, been left behind.
So we need a term for that category of shows that where the cultural ground shifted under its feet, and now it's like a quirky, kooky kind of artifact, like Riri Williams and Ironheart. That's such a strange. It's got a different kind of cultural element to it now because of that irony.
Like a show out of time or late to the party. You've got to find a term that really captures that.
Belated woke.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because it's gone from shock of what you're watching in the moment to this is what, you know, where the world's going to now, laughing that they're out of touch again. So it's sort of it makes it a lot more enjoyable to watch this garbage because you just know that they're losing.
Well, they lost. I mean, woke lost. Actually, you know that guy Andrew? What was his name? Andrew. You had him on talking about his book on the podcast.
Oh, Andrew Doyle. Yeah,
I actually read his book. Well, I read about a fifth of the book and then got bored and started reading something else. But I might go back to it, and it's pretty decent. His stuff on Brexit was great, and he basically pointed out that at the height of woke, the polls suggested that no more than 8% of the population actually supported the various policies once they were described in detail. You know, do you support the segregation of university campuses, things like that? And only 8% of the population actually supported woke at its height. So they lost. I mean, it's over. They lost. They were not able to use the power of the state and the establishment and the media and Hollywood to basically mentally strangle everybody into conformity, which was what they wanted to do. They failed at that endeavor, but there's still like they're carrying on like little gorillas in the mountains, still producing Starfleet Academy and Ironheart and things like that.
Well, the funny thing is, woke never won. The second it arrived, people made fun of it and were sick of it. And
they captured the institutions. They captured Hollywood.
Yeah.
Even in the UK, like, and this is a point that Andrew Doyle made. I can't remember if he made it in his book or on the podcast or both, but he said you have woke institutionalized within government, and you also have the consumer side of woke, which is Hollywood, and it's in your advertisements, it's in your products, it's in everything. In America, I think the culture and the government is divested of both, but in the UK, for example, the establishment, the government, the police, all of the institutions are still very much captured by woke ideology. It's just that I don't know what British culture is like so much. I think it's nowhere near as cleaned out as America is becoming. But you have to bear in mind, like, there's two aspects to woke. There's the institutional, and then there's the cultural.
Oh, we're so far behind Australia. Like we're heading into, you know, having ID to use the internet. So we're a long way from fixing it here.
Greg, you'd agree that what I think woke and identity politics didn't factor in is just how strong the will to integration is. Like I used to do some tutoring at like English language academy with mainly Asian kids, and their parents could barely speak a word of English, but they had already Kiwi accents, were already just part of the culture just within one generation. And I remember some guy from a diverse background became an American citizen and saying to his kids, just wanted you to hold on to just anything from the old world, just a few little bits and pieces, because their kids are already racing to integrate. And I think identity politics is kind of retrograde in a way that it likes to almost preserve that idea of identity almost as personal brand to an extent that isn't relatable and actually practicable in the gritty, actual lived experience of people's lives. Is that the deficit?
I think that it's, I mean, I can see what you're saying there, that it is trying to hang on to that. But I also think that it's more about not wanting to integrate because you want to be special. I don't know that it's so much about like a cultural longing or wanting to belong or something. I think it's more about it's a real self-centered
I think a socio-cultural shortcut to feeling special in a way like that. I think there is something in there.
I really do. Because if it were part of being, part of my heritage, part of the old country or whatever, or part of this, my folks live on the reservation and I still whatever go do the things with them. Like, I don't think it's longing for a connection to that. I think it's longing to stand out and be special. And I think you're absolutely right. It's a shortcut to just say, look at me, I'm special, I'm different. I'm not like you. I've got moral points. I've got intersectional moral points that I get to lord over you. Like, I think that's what it's more about than trying to find a connection to a group.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because in New Zealand, I don't know, Robert, to the extent in Australia, but with, the Maori population, they won't be explicitly out loud about it all that much. But once you get outside of the main centers, it's really rejuvenating for the spirit and the soul when you're invited onto a marae, which is like the meeting house for Maori tribes and then there's hapu, and you forget just how strong and rich that is once you get outside the main centers into that. So that kind of stuff can be beautiful in a bicultural experience without making a big song and dance about it, in the spheres of entertainment and that kind of stuff. It happens in politics. It can be annoying and identity politics driven, but generally on the whole, you do have that separation, which has a grace to it. And I think some of that is missing.
As interesting as this conversation is, and it is a lot more interesting than Starfleet Academy, I just want
to
look
talk about Starfleet Academy.
I do want to look at the like to dislike ratio of Star Trek Academy at present. So just give me a moment.
Okay.
So right now, it has 6.4K. Oh, for God's sake, my extension isn't working.
I've got 6.4 likes and 24,000 dislikes.
Okay, so 6.4K likes to 24,000 dislikes.
So 4 to 1. That's a hell of a ratio there.
My number one tweet of all time is still Jediabetes with the fat Jedi from the Acolyte, which got 10,000 likes. But surprisingly, my second favorite one was when I just posted the garish, horrible, grotesque-looking set designs for these Star Trek bridges. And they're sickening. They're horrible to look at. I said it looks like you're in the inside of a toasty maker with the elements on the roof squeezing you down. Everything is plastic and perspex and horrible angles and garish lighting. And it's not just the aesthetic of Star Trek that's become deeply kind of hostile to the eyes. It's the whole aesthetic. There's no friendliness to it. There's no empathy. There's no sense of pathos. There's nothing profound. There's no depths of characterization. It's ghastly to look at.
Imagine working there. It's like you've gone into a bad nightclub in the early 90s or something, and that thinks it's futuristic. You'd be like having migraines every day trying to get to work.
I'm just looking at it now, and I'm thinking about why does this look so ugly? And I do have a few thoughts. First of all, it's monotone. It's overwhelmingly burgundy. Even look at the woman in that seat. It's burgundy. She's wearing burgundy. Her seat is burgundy. The wall behind her is burgundy, and the foreground is burgundy. So it's literally burgundy on burgundy on burgundy on burgundy. Like, it's hideous. I'm no fashionista, But Jesus Christ, man, study a bit of color theory. This is absolutely disgusting looking. And don't blend burgundy with dark blue.
Yes.
It's like going from the cool 60s movies, and then you put on a 70s movie and you go, oh my God, everything's so bloody ugly. It looks like it's from the 70s. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting. But it's a theme. Like, look at this. Ugh. Okay,
it's the thing. You've got this red and this dark blue, and it's not the right shades. Oh, it's hideous.
But the lighting looks like they've just got big switches on the wall, and one's got blue and one's got red, one's got green, and they just hit the switch and it's all the blue lights on it, and then it's all the burgundy. Look, there's no life to any of the lighting. It's just flat. All the lights are behind the camera, just straight at everyone.
Yeah. Fuck.
I think this one looks better than the one I was seeing on Paramount the other day. Everything there looks so yellow. Like everything has a yellow filter in this trailer that I'm seeing on the Paramount YouTube page. It looks like like I slapped a Premiere Pro. I want a yellow cinematic filter and just on everything.
That's the charm of the show. Like Next Generation was that they look like they were going to work. Like the bridge is well lit and looks like somewhere you'd work, like an office, and all the excitement happens outside of that. And they're making these decisions at work, not a nightclub. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'd say this is the most aesthetically hostile franchise out there, and it just makes me. And look at this! It's just
the green
garish lights and yeah. And what's that guy wearing half armor with like a weird curves to it and all this shit in the ceiling?
I can't believe you guys didn't watch that movie. That was god awful.
You've got this hideous blue wig and the blue lipstick and the blue robe. They love their monotone and they love combining the same color. It's almost like their costume and makeup and their production designers are anti-color theory. They just like to blend the most hideous colors together. It's horrible. They also blend like strong, bright lights, but everything around them still managed to be dark and musty.
Yeah,
this mech suit. It's absolutely horrible looking.
You know, when you go to a production, like especially at a school production, and it's that horrible mixture of stark gloom and glare at the same time when you're in a theater.
Always one light aimed straight at your face for some reason.
But it's aesthetically epicene, and everyone in the cast is weirdly epicene as well. It gives me the creeps. I don't know why people like this, and it makes me worried about sort of people who do like this. Who gets off on this?
And that's part of the job that you shouldn't notice. Like everything should just look amazing but real. But with these shows, it's all you notice is just how ugly and badly done everything is. Like it just offends the eyes.
Gives me anxiety looking at these sets. Fucking hell.
Well, it's a lot of this. When you were talking about like how nothing really looks alive or whatever, this. When I use the insult AI made or whatever, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. I don't mean just like it looks like it was just generated, the scripts or whatever. It's what AI does is it takes the knowledge of what a thing should be and it's read about in multiple places and then attempts to recreate it without any sort of emotional understanding of what makes it work. And this trailer is that to a T. There needs to be a control deck. There should be a bridge. So we need to make some kind of bridge thing, and it should be futuristic and plastic looking. And there should be it's Star Trek, so we're supposed to be very progressive and there's unity amongst everybody, and there's no more country lines and all this. And they try to jam all that together in this trailer in the show, and you can see that they've read about it and they know what it should look like, but it's like trying to describe the flavor of a fruit that you've never eaten, but you've read about, and now you're trying to recreate. Like, it's just so dead. It's terrible.
But imagine doing an 8-hour shift on this bridge. Like you'd have headaches, you'd feel anxiety, you'd feel nasty.
Well, and some of it makes sense. Like, so if you look at the old Star Wars, those bridges were oppressive too, but that was because it was the Empire. Like, even stuff like that made sense. The Empire ships looked like you would want to throw yourself out of an airlock if you had to do an entire shift there, and especially with the dude in the black cape might choke you to death if you screwed up. So, but that made sense. This is supposed to be a happy, futuristic, unity-driven place where we're exploring, the great beyond, and it doesn't.
See, that's one of my pet hates in Star Wars is the hangar bays. Like when the ships come in and, you know, the original OT, all the hangar bays are well lit. They're bright. You can see the ships around. You can see the soldiers. And then you get to J.J. Abrams and it looks like this. The hangar bays have got mirrored floors. They're dark. It looks like a nightclub again. And it's a bloody hangar bay in a ship. Like, it's just no reason whatsoever that it should look like that. And it just takes away any sort of realism you can try and inject into watching these things.
That confrontation with Snoke, it's just a space. There's nothing in it. It's just like a huge, vaguely semicircular space with a red backdrop, and that's it. That's all there is for a mile.
That's ridiculous, that room. Like, there's no sense. And like, people point to like the Emperor, you know, and he had his chair and sitting in that room, but that room looked like it was functional. Snoke's room just looks like a stage show, and that's all it's meant to look like. And there's just no reason for it whatsoever. But still looks better than this garbage.
Yeah. Makes me sick. Nauseous to look at. What happened to poor old Star Trek? Doesn't seem fair. So I put out a video saying it's the end of the girl boss. And by that, I don't mean like, no, but there's still this or that yet to come. I mean, we're over the hump. We're over the curve. We're on the downward trajectory. We're
with
on the
all
way
these
out.
videos, like saying the end of girl boss or the end of woke, you're going to have to over-explain what you mean because you just know the comments you're going to get. It's just, before you even hit that upload button, you just know what every comment's going to be unless you overstate exactly what you mean. Yes, we will still get
one guy
boss.
saying, no, there's still this show yet to come, which is followed, of course, by the weird random anti-Semitic comment, and then whatever else. So, you know, you've got your typical standbys.
You know, I think that it's not even worth your time. I tried to do that in a Wheel of Time video where I was talking about how they really emphasized all of like the gay relationships and how the audience just doesn't care. Like it's not good or bad, but it takes up a lot of screen time and most of the audience doesn't feel any connection to it. So it makes the show boring. And I took a solid 2 minutes to I came up with an analogy for how I don't care about the soccer, football, or whatever, and like I'm not mad, but I don't care, and I still had plenty of people. Oh, so you're just homophobic piece of shit. Wow, you don't care. You hate gay people. No, god damn. I used the word neutral. I used the word indifferent. They don't fucking care. They just come bitch. But you know what?
Maybe I've got this all wrong.
Thanks for your fucking.
Maybe I just need to. Maybe I just need to make a 10-hour vitriolically and virulently anti-Semitic video for 10 hours long. Upload it, and maybe I'll get like 10 million views. Maybe I got this all wrong.
I mean, it's working for Nick Fuentes, so I could go for it.
Didn't he get invited to the White House? No, I got invited to Mar-a-Lago, I think. Yeah. So I guess look at all these fixtures and figures. So I think it's part of a different age now. So if I'm very clever, which I'm not, I'm going to try and add. No, that's the wrong thing. Echo. That's a different thing. So I'm going to remove that. Fuck, I know. Going into a fugue state now. What I wanted to find was.
You got to get a second monitor. You need 2 monitors. Right. It's the future.
Anyone working on a single monitor is a psychopath in my eyes.
He edits videos on a single
psychopath. Monitor. Hold on, is working on 2 monitors, is it a bit like, I don't know, sex without a condom? Like once you've done it, you just can't go back?
I went to 3, and then I got one of those massively wide ones. It's insane. That's the length of your desk. Yeah, but even I'm on a different one here for streaming, and this has got 2 just for streaming. There's no way I could edit on one.
You got if you get the super wide ones, you can, and then if you download Windows Power Toys and get all the little block, like you can get 6 full size looking windows in one of those giant. You get 12 things at a time.
Oh yeah,
power just goes straight to your head.
Yeah.
So I feel like gentlemen,
12 things.
So many. Whatever things you want, it doesn't even matter.
So gentlemen, what we've got to do. We've got to deduce who is the ultimate supreme girl boss. So you have to do it as a bracket. So our first pairing, we've got Miss Indiana Jones versus May from the Acolyte. Who was the ultimate superior girl boss from the girl boss era of those 2?
You are talking about someone that punched out Indiana Jones and knocked him out. Yep. That's pretty hard to beat. So, you know, the Acolyte, she was just a bitch that got off on because she saw a guy's dick after he killed all her friends. But punching out Indiana Jones, that's hard to get above.
So Helena Shaw, are we all agreed that she's going to move on?
Yeah, the other thing about May is that May doesn't really have any agency. She just gets pulled around by the plot. In fact, a favorite method that the writers were using to get her from A to B was to just knock her out, make her unconscious, and then wake her up again when they needed her.
That's right.
So she has no agency. She just, the only thing I think the only active thing she does in the plot is to strangle Qui-Gon Jinn to death. And that happens at the end when it can't have any consequences. So
it is the only thing she does.
It is, yeah. It's the only active action that she takes. Entire thing. She has no agency whatsoever, which is bizarre given that it was written by a man-hating feminist.
Yeah. Well, that moves us on to our second pairing, which is Galadriel versus She-Hulk. So who was the ultimate girl boss out of that pairing?
I mean, you haven't seen what Galadriel has seen.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, the internet trolls hated She-Hulk, but Galadriel, she almost turned Satan's right-hand man. You can't beat that.
Was She-Hulk very girl bossy? Like, it was a terrible show, but was she very girl bossy?
There was a scene where she was showing up Hulk, and she was better at everything. And
yes.
Said, I'm better than. But other than that, she was actually kind of girly. Like, she liked glitz and glam, and she liked to talk about dresses.
So we're going with Galadriel then, I think seems to be the consensus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll move on with Galadriel.
Although
taking us on to the...
she didn't carry What's-His-Face off into the bedroom to be the top. So, I don't know.
That's true, yeah. Okay, we're moving to the right-hand side.
If this ends in a mud wrestling competition, I'm going to be picking different people. So just let me know up front, because I'll be going, my criteria will be quite different.
Well, this is a very difficult here. You've got Captain Marvel versus Rey. So who's the ultimate superior girl boss?
Well, Captain Marvel's meant to be a girl boss, isn't she? Like, she's meant to be all-powerful. Rey just is all-powerful in a world where she shouldn't be.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of people think Rey is all-powerful girl boss just because she uses the Force so well. My next video is actually about The Force Awakens, because I wanted to do a retrospective of it, so I went back, haven't seen it in 10 years. And Jesus Christ, it is shocking how Mary Sue Rey is. She's perfect at everything. Like, there are things you don't even notice. It only takes her a few seconds. For example, she's able to hotwire the blast doors inside Star Killer base. Han Solo couldn't do that in Return of the Jedi. He tried for like 30 minutes and he couldn't get the doors to this base open. But Rey does it in literally 5 seconds. And there's in just The Force Awakens, there are literally dozens of examples of this, and the effect that she has on characters, it's so bizarre. But
the only way they got away with it at the time, we thought that they were going to explain it.
Yeah. That's right. But didn't Captain Marvel introduce the prickliness of the girl boss and the kind of standoffishness, the sexlessness, and also the idea that she was brilliant and perfect all along, and she just had to realize it for herself and then become super powerful in a way that's almost impossible to quantify at the end. So
which one are you describing?
Captain Marvel.
You know what? Echo has convinced me. I'm going to vote for Captain Marvel just because she was so insufferable, and also because the actress as well suited the girl boss so well. They were both insufferable, and they kind of became greater than the sum of their parts, the character and the actor, to the point where it just became this singularity of insufferableness. So
plus the scene where she gets the guy in his fist and he's like misogynistic, and she like pushes him down to the ground and he's like groveling and staring up at her, and
crushes
that was
his
a key moment. Yeah. Greg, where do you?
Oh, the motorbike dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. This shouldn't have been round one, because I mean, you've got Rey, like they were so obvious with both of them, where Finn tries to grab her hand and she was like, haha, no, I'm going to subvert that expectation. We're not going to be love interests. Ha, I'm strong. But then also Captain Marvel, she had a fight where they had no doubts, I'm just a girl playing. I mean, they were just beating you over the face with it. Like,
well, you got to make a choice.
I still gotta go with Rey, though. I think I gotta go with Rey. They tried to walk it back with the Marvels, not super effectively. They tried to soften her to make her like matronly, like a a figure for Kamala to look up to, and they tried to put a
whereas Rey just kept escalating. That's part of your point.
Yeah, Rey. They just kept trying to fix it by making it worse. They never,
to the point where she literally says, "I'm all the Jedi."
Now, fuck it, I changed my mind again. It's got to be Rey.
No, unbelievable! Really? Oh, Robothead, what's your vote? Robothead, what's your vote?
I keep swinging from one to the other two, but I'm going to go with Rey just for being sentimental.
I don't believe it.
Stole the Skywalker name. It's got to be Rey.
I don't believe this.
Yeah,
Rey. I thought Captain Marvel was a shoo-in. Okay, Riri Williams versus Velma Dinkley, who's the ultimate girl boss there.
Oh, it's got to be Ironheart.
Yeah, it's Ironheart.
But Velma Dinkley had a particular caustic nastiness, tons of identity politics in there, self-inserts.
She didn't murder
pointing
anyone.
A finger at the audience, like lecturing and trying to be meta with the audience in a way that didn't work, wasn't in control of the irony, and just came across as self-loathing and meta self-aware at the same time. There's a lot going on there.
Velma is an absolutely insufferable character. In fact, there's a very good case to be made that she's the worst character of the woke era, but she's not really a girl boss. She's just a horrible, horrible human being.
Yeah, they tried to do like a Daria self-deprecating, ironic, edgy humor, and Robot's right. Like it never worked. It just came across as angry. But they did attempt to make her make jokes about herself, even when they clearly weren't supposed to land.
Right. Okay.
Tony Stark saved the world, and Ray kept saying, I'm not going to put him down, but and it's like,
all right. Well, okay. So our first semifinal comes down to Helena Shaw from Indiana Jones versus Galadriel. She did punch out Indiana Jones. That's a key seminal cultural moment of disdain and incredulity. It's a big one. So Galadriel as a constant presence or theme is going to be humming along there in the culture is that. But Helena Shaw had that one iconic moment which signaled something nefarious in the culture.
God, it's hard because I think we've all forgotten Rings of Power Season 1. It's just this sort of, it's almost like a dream. It's like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
But, she does, she emasculates every man she comes across. She turns around to Elrond and she says, my dick's bigger than yours. She goes to where Numenor, is it? And she humiliates like 5 guys in public. She's true. Just never, every man she comes across, she actively tries to emasculate him. So there's a, there's a case to be made for Galadriel here. There really is. And it's a great example of a character that is, Helena Shaw is very much the same, but at the same time, Helena Shaw is a man, right? So Helena Shaw is a male character played by a woman, and so is Galadriel. They're both male characters played by women. So Helena Shaw is a toxic female version of Indiana Jones. That's her character. And Galadriel is a toxic female version of Aragorn, I guess. So they're very, very similar. They have a lot in common. They're both horrible and insufferable and arrogant.
But Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she's the biggest, and I think maybe the first instance of the woman can be everything. So she's simultaneously an espionage person. She's simultaneously a great explorer. She's also supposed to be a femme sex symbol. She's also got the guy's ex-boyfriend who's lusting after her. She looks at the sailors on the boat in a kind of flirtatious way. Exactly. So she's trying to be absolutely everything and save the day from the curmudgeonly old spent
and also the fact that she shows up in Indiana Jones and makes Indiana Jones a guest in his own movie. It's got to be Helena Shaw for me.
You just know she was meant to be wearing the hat in the end. You just know that was the plan. That she was going to take over.
The guy training after her in the car chase was amazing.
Galadriel's across 3 seasons, whereas we're going to advance Helena Shaw on the strength of one film, Despot? I don't know.
I think it's that strong. It's
really.
She basically encapsulates everything that was wrong with the girl boss. Everything. She is the perfect girl boss.
Well, I'm still on the fence. So, Greg, what's your vote?
I'm Galadriel because I think Galadriel was what they think male action heroes are. Like you're absolutely right that both of these are you can tell how twisted they see older action stuff. They see Indiana Jones as this disgusting misogynistic, angry, arrogant, elitist, whatever, like, because that's how they wrote Helena. And I think that Galadriel's the same way. That's how they, like, she's not a leader. One of her team was going to be left or was going to fall behind. And she was like, well, we got to go. I got a mission.
Fuck him.
I tell you what, I say we throw it to the chat, man. I say we ask the chat.
Well, what's Robot? What's your vote?
No, I'm going with the bloody killing, not only punching out Indiana Jones, but saving him. I know I'm repeating myself, but it just kill a bloody icon.
Chat, you're up. So,
but she didn't survive. She didn't survive a volcano eruption. I mean,
yeah, that's true. But we have not seen what she has seen. True. I don't know. I hate Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Okay. Indiana Jones girl.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad the Tomb Raider stuff seems to be either on ice or totally canceled, which is excellent. She was going to screw that all up.
Fan fiction. Yeah, she's more of a fan fiction character. Whoever wins, we already lost. She's got a Gorbachev's head, does she? Galadriel took that blast to the face. I'm not going to poll it. I got too much shit on the screen already. Destroyed Tolkien's idea of a bad guy without getting hurt. It's too mixed up in the chat.
Blast to the face. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Depends on the blast, I suppose.
So I'm leaning Galadriel. Actually, I think she had enough to just tip it for me. So one for Galadriel. Greg, you were Helena Shaw.
I'm going Galadriel.
2 Galadriel. Robot Head.
Yeah, and 2 for Helena Shaw. Me and Robot Head. I'm seeing a lot of Galadriel in the chat.
Yeah,
a lot.
All right, I think Galadriel is going to take it just by what the chat is saying. Okay, and that leads us to a second finalist between Ray or Riri.
I did a poll. All my folks are 78% Galadriel right now.
Right. All right. So Ray versus Riri.
Hard one.
It is hard because Ray's been a presence in our lives for a long time, but Riri is just blasted into the landscape. So I don't know.
She stole her suit, and Ray stole everything around her.
Well, I think Ray is morally perfect, which is annoying, but Riri Williams is morally empty. So I think that's really what it comes down to for me. So I go with moral emptiness. This is crazy, but I'm thinking Riri. No, but is the superior girl boss? Fuck, this is hard, actually.
No, for me, it's Riri. It's Riri all the way. For that moral reason, I think that's the issue, is that, I mean, they told her, in the show, they were like, there's no such thing, there's good and bad ways to use things, but there's good magic and there's bad magic, and this is evil magic. It is the One Ring can't be used for good. And then she was like, nah, but I will though. But I just through the power of me wanting to, I used evil magic and it's fine.
But the problem is that the girl boss has to be an outsized and annoying over influence that's disproportionate on events and everything. Whereas Riri Williams doesn't necessarily have that. She's morally empty, but Ray is just ridiculously powerful and ridiculously influential over everything in a kind of girl boss fantasy way. So
Ray ended up being more important than Darth Vader, than Anakin Skywalker. That's a pretty big claim to fame.
See, I would say that Ray fits into what we all consider to be good at things, whereas Riri is so powerful that she creates her own brand. Everything she does is right, even if it is wrong. Like, she's stronger than morality. That's how girl bossy she is. Whereas Ray still had to fit into the category that was already defined. Riri she did whatever she wanted, contradicted herself, and it was always correct. It always worked.
I'm going to go with. Go ahead, Robot Head.
I was just going to say we have to work out the difference between Girl Boss and Mary Sue, because they blur the lines.
Mary Sue is an aspect of Girl Boss, but at the same time, Ray is very much a Girl Boss. Like, she just decimates everything that gets in her way.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with Ray here, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
I'm going to go meta on my reasoning, because you can talk about the different traits of the characters, but ultimately, Ironheart is a complete irrelevance. Okay, she was fodder for YouTubers. She was fertilizer for content farmers. That's about it. The culture doesn't care about her. She didn't have any impact on Marvel. Ray fucked up Star Wars. Now, I know it's very easy to forget. It's very easy to forget what Star Wars was. But I'm old enough to remember a time when it was the biggest franchise in the world, and when the idea that it would be culturally irrelevant was unthinkable. Okay, what Star Wars was when The Force Awakens came out was this gigantic juggernaut of a franchise, and Rey played a significant role in turning it into what it is today, a dead franchise that no one gives a shit about. So I'm going to give it to Rey for those meta reasons.
Okay, but if you go from Ironheart, rejuvenating freshness and effervescence to the franchise and tech porn and a really cool charismatic character, and then you have the female equivalent of Ironheart, you've fallen through the basement to like 10 levels down to that. So isn't that kind of an analogy there? I don't know. So anyway, what are your thoughts, Robert?
Well, I'm very biased here with the Star Wars destruction, but like in Force Awakens, when Rey hits Kylo in the face at the end and beats him in a fight, no training, like that just wiped out anything to do with the lore in Star Wars. Like she could use the Force straight away. She could just beat everyone straight. This is in the first film. This is before we even get to know her. And she's instantly just can kill everyone, fly every ship, do everything. Yeah. It's hard to go past Rey.
All right. I think we're going with Rey. I think because I go Rey as well.
The classic.
So I think that's where it's headed. All right. Well, I think deep down, maybe we knew it was coming to this. So this is going to be, oh my God. This is a brutal confrontation. Fuck. Good God. I can't even get my head around this.
Maybe let the chat have a bit of a say in this as well, because
yeah, chat, go ahead.
I think I've already made up my mind.
Well, Robots got me convinced that it is Rey because the longevity of the destruction of the property. Like Galadriel Rings of Power, I don't think has ruined Lord of the Rings, or we haven't seen the effects of that yet. And Lord of the Rings it's always been popular, but it hasn't been this institution. Like Star Wars was this cultural phenomenon. I mean, there's so many, like, I think it's bigger than Lord of the Rings as far as what it encompassed. And they really, and you've seen ever since the new stuff with Disney, it's a complete crash and burn. But I don't think Lord of the Rings has been affected by Rings of Power in the same way. So I'm going to go with Rey.
Yeah, I'm going to keep mine very short and simple. I'm going with Rey for this reason. She has never lost a battle yet, and she's not about to lose one today.
Well, I actually go with Galadriel. I go with Galadriel because if you go from the Peter Jackson trilogy, which was beloved, beautifully rendered, and Cate Blanchett as a graceful Galadriel, to having an ultimate girl boss fantasy of fanfic nonsense who comes across as sexless, utterly prickly, vindictive, has no personality or charisma, holds grudges, and instead of having the ethereal beauty and grace of a being that's thousands of years old, she's passive aggressive. It wins every confrontation she's in. She, when she's faced with another girl boss, she wrinkles her nose in a twitchy kind of aggressive way. She has that ridiculous scene where she shows up the Numenorian diverse DEI crowd of guys in a preposterous thing. She takes on a bunch of orcs and uses lamps, and somehow they turn into napalm where she's flipping in slow motion. She's an absolute preposterous creature and creation of the worst impulses and unchecked excesses of woke modernity and Hollywood, channeled into this one absolutely absurd, irredeemably shocking, grotesque, laugh out loud figure who's reprehensible in every way as a figure, who caused a 37% drop in what should have been prestige television Amazon show, which is an astonishing figure of people who absolutely checked out. She didn't grow or change. She doesn't have any ability to grow or change. So I think she's the ultimate girl boss across the board. So I go Galadriel. And I stand by it, damn it.
But did she teach Han Solo how to fix his own ship? She didn't do that. See, the perfect final here would have been, for me, it would have been having the actress that punched out Indiana Jones with the actress that killed Han Solo and taught him how to fix his own ship and ended up, having him dead. That would have been the perfect final for me. But it's
Rey is such a girl boss that Palpatine came back to life so that he could be killed by her, because he didn't want to be killed by, Vader, because Vader's a man. He needed to be killed by a girl boss. She literally resurrected Palpatine just so she could kill him. That is how much of a girl boss she is.
Yeah, but we got to the point where the writers lost their grace and dignity to such an extent that Sauron, who's like this perfect evil abstracted creation, it becomes her and Galadriel. It's like a thirst trap. It's like, are they going to fuck? Becomes like a major plot point towards the end of the season. Come on.
Did you hear the Emperor came back? That's the.
I did hear that.
How
yeah.
big that is.
Well, no,
Greg,
that's because they fucked up the plot, because they fucked up the trilogy.
Greg, if you vote Galadriel, she has it. No. If you vote Rey, she has it. If you vote Galadriel, it's deadlocked. What's your vote?
Yeah. Come on, Greg, don't let me down.
No, because I think that like the Hobbit was already stretched out. They were already money grubbing. I think it's Rey. I really do. I think it's the overall.
I believe this.
It's the overall effect on the franchise, and it really is the. They tried to make Galadriel look like she made a mistake by trusting Halbrand something, but no, Rey was never even. There was no doubt ever. There wasn't even the veil, thin veil of self-doubt or anything with that one.
They killed Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo to elevate her higher. So that's
I mean,
I feel
really,
this is terrible.
This is a competition where I think the winner truly is earned. Like this, she is the perfect encapsulation of the girl boss, and she will go down in history as such. This is correct.
Unbelievable. I think once you think about this, maybe you sleep on it and you wake up the next morning, you'll go, no, I should have listened to Echo, because she doesn't have the obdurate prickliness that gets your back up, which is such a quintessential element of the girl boss. She's just banal. That's what Rey is. She's banal, whereas Galadriel is aggressively annoying.
When I went back to rewatch the Force Awakens, I thought, Jesus Christ, she's annoying. Like the way she captures the story every time she's on screen, everything just revolves around her, and it becomes insufferable very, very quickly.
Well, I think you're all crazy, but I know it's a democracy, so I guess fine. All right, well, that's the end of the girl boss. I think we sorted that out. All right. Speaking of girl bosses, I think this could be the last major entry in the sorted catalog of girl bossery.
Christ, that's the cover of a gay porno if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. So I'll show you a little bit of the trailer.
House of Arse, it should say.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, God damn it.
Greatest of honor.
Yeah, so, pretty shocking CGI for a start. Terrible sets, terrible design. And I like this armor. It's got like 100 nipples on it. That was kind of cool. It's like, what is that like? It's like the design of some of those floor mats you can get, like at a swimming pool, where you go over in your feet. Yeah, it's kind of what that looks like. So the aesthetic looks terrible already. But it gets worse because
the house of Asher shall wallow in the
CGI.
I know, but look at the set design on here. If I can go back.
Look at that crucifix CGI. That is something else.
Yeah, but look at those cheap wooden. Those look like hollow wooden things. It looks like that cheap cardboard you get. It just looks terrible. This is just before a guy comes in and says they took her jabs for Numenor.
Obviously, this is the show we're talking about. They planned this before the world changed around them.
But it seems a little bit like the scene from Spinal Tap with Stonehenge, where like the dimensions were supposed to be bigger. Like this was supposed to be a huge atrium where it would look impressive, but that's what the dimensions came out as.
Well, even the crucifix, they look so close together, and there's meant to be a road between them.
Yeah, I think the whole gay porn thing, like if you look at this guy, I think the evidence is kind of mounting up there. It's not good. But this is all leading up, of course, to the introduction of
sight never before witnessed in the arena.
Yes, there she is.
This is nothing new for this franchise. I loved the first couple of seasons of Spartacus. 1st 2 seasons were really good, and then I can't remember if it was the 3rd season. there was a black girl boss. It was a woman who was a domestic servant in the house that Spartacus was being trained in. And then Spartacus frees her, and she immediately becomes this really annoying, cringy girl boss. And her sole facial expression becomes that, and she just runs around slaughtering Roman soldiers. God, she was and she develops this girl boss attitude where she's really in your face. Oh, she's insufferable.
Can we go back?
This is nothing new. This is the second time that this franchise has done a sort of black, aggressive girl boss slaughtering all the men in front of her.
Look how hideous this is. Like the lighting's all wrong. The keying with the CGI is all off.
Everything looks so tiny.
Green screen is. I mean, even the fucking door is really bad. See, look at the frame. Look at the frame on the door. It doesn't blend with the wall properly. It's clearly hideous green screen.
And look at the outfits. He just up the top, he's doing, Roman gladiator. And then as we go down, he's just got shorts on and then runners and socks at the bottom.
He's got a sweatpants on, yeah.
So the next frame.
Well, the light source, like the moon, isn't generating enough light for what's obviously a gigantic, harsh spotlight on that guy. So it's ugly as fuck.
Yeah, that's the porn angle, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
I'm sure that's called the porn shot when you're looking down like that. Oh, I hope not.
Look at that.
She doesn't tell you what. She doesn't look like an athlete. No harm to the girl. She's a bit thick on it.
But don't worry, because it's not just a gay porno. Because there's also going to be some obligatory. Why do they have to do a million? What is this? How do you describe this maneuver?
Oh, this is a classic girl boss maneuver, like this.
Yeah. Galadriel's done this a few times.
Very acrobatic spin, this kind of ballerina style thing.
Yeah, which doesn't achieve anything.
You just want to see a sword go right through her in midair and just cut her in half.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or just spike her. Yeah. We've also got some hardcore listen action. Nice. So there you go. It's gonna be nice.
Oh, okay. So when does this start?
Yeah, what's the release date?
If someone could give me a timestamp so I don't have to watch the rest of it.
That's a good point, yeah.
The word you're looking for is sapphic. That's the cool hot term that everybody's wanting to use.
Yeah.
What's the term?
Well, the rise of the girl boss. Yeah, what's that term, Greg?
Sapphic. That is the in the book world. My wife reads a lot of fantasy books, and that's everybody wants to have a cool lesbian relationship. It's very in vogue right now, and in fantasy and fiction.
Growing up watching a lot of movies with lesbian scenes, they never quite get the magic that I'm looking for, though.
Well, what's an example of when they did manage to do it for you? What's a lesbian scene where you thought this is engrossing, captivating, compelling, and genuinely erotic? Can anyone think of a scene where all those criteria?
Yeah, I can think of one. There's Mulholland Drive is an excellent example of that.
I suppose so. I'm trying to think of one.
My favorite episode of Black Mirror is a lesbian story. Don't know if they have any sex in it.
I hate to be the prude, but it doesn't matter if it's gay or straight. I can't think of a sex scene or an almost sex scene in a show or a movie that I thought was anything but a waste of screen time, and clearly just a horny director who was just like, I want to see some boobs, and you guys all have money. You could do that off screen. Please just move on with the show. I can't think of a single one. And
was it hard to come out to your parents, or is this how you're doing?
I'll be the fuddy duddy. It's fine. I think it's a giant waste of time. It's ridiculous.
Right. Well, it's been good being on this show, but I don't know if I can support this sort of this thinking.
But Greg, what about boobs?
Look, they're great. Look, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. But they don't tell a story. They only tell one kind of story.
Okay, so what about ass?
Yeah,
that's my favorite. I prefer that. I prefer that, but still, it just it doesn't tell a story.
There's
a little film called Pacific Banana. It's an Australian film. You ever think, did that make it to New Zealand? Pacific Banana. That's about the.
I don't think so. No.
It's about. It's about a plane company called Pacific Banana. All the planes are yellow.
Greg,
So
you've
it's
never
quite
seen a film
educational.
where there's been an erotic scene that you felt belonged in there, was a judicious choice from the director, and added to the overall effect.
I can't. I mean, maybe there's one out
What,
there.
what
But
about
I
in Dracula?
cannot think of
What
one.
about like
The
what
Dracula
about
ones are
the
good.
PG-13 where she's got the sheets around her breasts? You know, that kind of those James Bond scene where you don't see him absolutely drill the girl, but maybe the first 10 seconds of the encounter, and then you hear this sweeping music and it sort of blends
What's
into
wrong
the
with that,
next
Greg?
scene where they're waking up. What about that?
See, I'm fine with that. Like the if characters are obviously into each other and it's causing something, some kind of drama, or they're getting closer or whatever, like I get like leading up to it, afterward, yeah, the waking up, we obviously just had sex, whatever. But like I was just talking about The Brutalist again, because I think that movie's great.
Oh,
More people need to watch it. But there's like at the end of it, they both get high on heroin and just bang for like 5 straight minutes. And it's
No,
just,
I know what you mean.
Just let me write that down.
What if we do that?
Just tell me what that film is.
If you look at James Bond movies and the way they handle
Adrian
sex
Brody, so it's his bony ass. It's really not great. Okay.
There's variety of reasons to take it beyond that. The sort of first 10 seconds of the encounter and then waking up afterward. Like there's I don't really need to see her bent over getting hammered by the guy. I mean,
Adrian Brody looks like the Count from Sesame Street in silhouette. So it's not very erotic.
Like it catches a lot of flack, but that 3rd episode from Last of Us, like
Greg,
Nick, what's his face, Ron Swanson is gonna sleep with the other guy. Like they're clearly about to have sex with each other. They're in bed together, and then they cut, and then it's the next day, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, great. They slept together. He's staying. It's getting serious. I didn't actually have to watch any of I didn't need to see any of that. And
do I have to point out that what those guys look like, and then what people can look like? Like I'm all for cutting away for the big, sweaty, hairy, ugly dudes about to do it. But there's other occasions where they're not big, sweaty, ugly, hairy dudes.
Yeah,
that I don't
Sydney Sweeney. You're gonna tell me you're gonna cut the Sydney Sweeney sex scene out of that maybe she did with that guy?
Pretending to be vague, like, oh, I don't know what the film is named. Pretending,
No, what's it called? 2 of Us or Made for Two? I can't remember what it's called.
I prefer it when it's not even set up, like in a Dirty Harry film where they fall through a skylight. There's an old guy about to bang.
It's called Anyone But You. That's her rom-com.
Yeah, but in Dirty Harry, where they fall through a skylight, there's an old guy about to bang a young guy and girl and on a bed, and there's a lot of nudity, and it's all seedy, and it's for no reason at all. That's I want more of that.
That was I remember when I was a kid, I was watching Tango and Cash, and in the beginning, there's a car chase, and then suddenly they cut to a truck where there's a topless gal, obviously servicing a dude, and she just sits up and her boobs are out, and it's just like, what? And then they cut away back to the car chase. Like, what were you guys doing? What was the director was like, what we need right here? Hold on. Everybody just bear with me for a second.
I'll tell you what they were doing.
Shot over here. I think it might have been the director in the driver's seat. Who knows? Maybe it was real. They
were making art, right? That's what you don't understand. It was art. Jesus.
Yeah. Some of the best fun I've had on YouTube was listening to Echo describe the sex scenes from Bros.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Still.
Lovely Predator. So everyone's seen the trailer for this.
Okay, vagina mark over here.
Jesus. What have they done? This is insane. You've got everything cool about Predator is the fact it's introduced gradually. It's an off-screen threat that becomes more insidious and encroaching. The hero has to figure out what's going on. There has to be a game of cat and mouse. There has to be the cool heat vision as an awesome effect, so a point of view. You have to get this idea of an encroaching threat. You have to have one beta or one alpha male pitted against this other alpha creature. You have this tension of the gradual reveal, the new technology and everything else. It escalates. And here they've turned it into a buddy film with an android from Wayland Yutani. We get introduced to the Predator straight away. He's supposed to be the main character, essentially the protagonist who we're actually rooting for in this hostile environment of a planet. It couldn't suck harder, this film. I haven't even seen it, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't think he's going to speak. I think that they're going to do
No, he
they're
speaks in
going
the
to do
trailer.
that thing
He
where
speaks in the
she
trailer.
speaks for him, and it's going to be an entire movie where it's going to be like the R2D2 thing, which is fine in small bits where somebody, they speak to him and you can tell what he was saying. It's going to be this entire movie, I think, unless it's subtitles when he's speaking Predatorese or whatever.
He does speak once in the trailer. I think he says, "I am no prayer, I am not prey," or something.
Yeah. But they've demystified a character who the whole point of it was to make it mystified and to be very sparse and judicious in how much you show of him. I mean, it's just so the banality of modern culture that you would not only have that, but you would also cross it over with another franchise in a way that's completely banal and ridiculous. Look how stupid this is. It's the C-3PO with Chewbacca trope, where the character... Oh, fucking hell.
Is she from another franchise?
Yeah, she's from Wayland Yutani, so it's from that franchise.
As another example of how stupid people on on Twitter are, all I said was the new Predator looks like shit, and the amount of carry on for having an opinion on the appearance of this fucking thing, like that's either you think it looks like shit or you don't. It's a pretty easy conversation. Fucking hell, the retard's coming out of the woodwork to explain that he's a young one. We've never seen a young. No, he looks like shit. The mask looks terrible. But
you had a picture of him with the caption, "I demand to see this planet's manager." Like he's a Karen.
I'm not surprised you got that reaction, Robot Head, because I was reading through the comments on the trailer, and they're overwhelmingly positive. Like there seems to be like this. Maybe it's the modern audience. I don't know. Maybe they do exist, and they've all gone to. They want
to prove how pathetic they are by how much they love something. Like we're seeing it with Avatar. They're just nothing's just mediocre, or nothing's just fun, or nothing just looks all right. Everything looks like the fucking greatest thing that's ever been made coming out, and they're passionate about arguing about it or telling you how desperate they are to see it. It's weird.
But the idea of good guys and bad guys has been conflated, because I have a theory that the modern younger audience doesn't like severe, strong emotion in their content. So in Jurassic World, you've got What's-Her-Tits, as Desperate would say, who's basically supposed to be a bad character mercenary, but she's also just blanded out into being kind of also a relatable, nice character. And even the guy who's supposed to be the evil white guy is sort of blanded out into having some good elements as well. Everything is narrowed down and occluded because I don't think modern audiences, they find it oppressive or confrontational to have characters who are distinct as good or evil in complex and interesting ways, or even just as a powerful force of nature. So to have the Predator as a secluded, dumbed down, benign, just generic character, it's just dude guy. It's basically just dude guy is what the Predator is now.
Yeah, well, it's slop now. And honestly, man, this is, I think, I don't know what the budget on this is, but I think it'll make a lot of money. Whether it'll be profitable, I'd need to see the budget, but it will make a lot of money in terms of its revenue because it's pure slop, and audiences seem to be gravitating more and more towards slop. We saw that with Jurassic World, dog shit or whatever that movie was called. And they've just gone full slop. Like, they don't care. They know it's garbage. They know the Predator looks like shit. It looks like a rubber Halloween mask. I mean, just look at his hair, the way his hair blends into the mask. It's rubber. They haven't even bothered to weave real hair into the mask. Do you know why? Because they don't give a fuck. They know it's garbage, and they know that there's an army of morons out there who will shill for this trash.
When you compare that his face to the original one, just in photos to annoy people online, the original Predator looks so moist. Like he looked like he was skin. There was sweat and moisture on it. It still looks amazing. It does. And this just looks like a dry rubber mask. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah. So you've got the Predator franchise is crossed over with the Alien franchise because it's Wayland Yutani, which means you'll have an alien appear because why not chuck it in there because it's something that people recognize. But what you didn't, I've got a sneak peek behind the scenes, Robot here, and they've also introduced the T-1000 from the Terminator franchise is also going to be in this film as a surprise twist because that's going to be super exciting. But then in the third act, there's going to be a crazy reveal where some Cylons also appear from Battlestar Galactica because that's going to be awesome as well. So surely more is better, obviously.
That'd be more interesting than I think what we're going to get.
T-1000.
I've heard this brilliantly described as the adaptation of Banjo-Kazooie we didn't know we needed. Some people will
Great.
get that joke.
Banjo-Kazooie. That rings a bell?
Banjo-Kazooie is a Nintendo 64 video game in which you play as a bear that has a bird in his backpack. And you can also, there's moves where you can use the bird and the bird pops out of the backpack to peck enemies and things like that. And it kind of looks like a weird, twisted version of Banjo-Kazooie.
Helps you fly around. The bird carries the bear.
I recognize that thing. Yeah, so exciting.
Not getting that anymore. Rare's getting shut down.
The crazy shit state of things. Plus, they're also going to have that alien show where people are wandering around a forest. So that's going to be happening at the same time. It's all blurring into one. God, it sucks. So as you alluded to, Robot here. So Sydney Sweeney has great genes, and this touched off a firestorm. People saying the most Nazi part of the Sydney Sweeney ad for me was the use of the word offspring. Genes are passed down from parent to offspring, often determining traits like eye color, personality, and even hair color. So Sydney, an American Eagle, somehow expect audiences to not interpret this visual as a euphemism for eugenics and white supremacy.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's so good because it's not even really worth responding to at this stage. It's just this insane cope. And the answer is very simple. It's jealous, ugly women online who are furious that body positivity is dead and that no one wants to be fat and ugly and disgusting. And all those celebrities that pretended that they were on board with body positivity, yeah, they're all on fat jabs. They're all on Ozempic and whatever the other one's called. And they've all lost weight. Even Lizzo has lost a ton of weight. So body positivity is not only dead, it's to the point where if you're a big fat fuck, you look pathetic and poor because you don't have any representation in the sort of higher strata of society. So you look like even more of a loser than you did before. And they know it, and they're furious about it, and they're taking it out on Sydney Sweeney. Also, it's just typical leftists hating on white people because they're leftists and they're anti-white. Let's not piss around the bush.
What's even better is the advertising agency is just popping champagne. Like, this is the best value they've ever got out of an ad, this company. Like, they would be so happy that they're getting this reaction. I'd never heard of American Eagle in Australia.
No.
I don't know what they sell. Do they sell jeans or do they sell cars?
Yeah, they sell jeans. No, it's jeans.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So that's play on words.
You just imagine what this sort of publicity would have cost them without this outrage. Like, so I love it. The fatties are helping them sell these jeans. It's sort of the ugly response is joining in with the promotion. It's fantastic. I love it.
So what's funny about American Eagle is that they're getting back to their roots, because I guess 25 years ago, they were in shopping malls and they were kind of famous in America for they had people stand outside shirtless. Like, if you were in good shape, they would hire you and pay you minimum wage to just stand outside the store. This was a real thing, happened for a very long time. Every single day they would get up in the jeans, and dudes would be out there shirtless if they were toned, and they would just hang around the store. And it was meant to just get people in, and it fucking worked. And they were also infamous because the store itself was almost pitch black. Like, it was super dark. It was very if anybody in the chat is old enough to remember this stuff, you got to back me up on this if you're in America, because they just had real models and a dark store, and it was the coolest place to get your clothing. And then they realized, okay, sex sells. We got to get back to that.
Someone in the comments said they sell Eagles, American ones, and just for some reason that made me laugh.
But is there a chance of a cultural 180 where there was a period in like the early aughts, I think, where it was heavily ironic to be like, there was a show called the Playboy Mansion, I think, where it was a real, like a real life show following these models and women who would go live at the Playboy Mansion. It was like a streaming show, and it was heavily ironic that you could be that kind of almost like a kitsch sexuality with an irony to it in the culture, and it was kind of fun and it was kind of playful. And so maybe Sydney Sweeney is a harbinger and an early example of something where it becomes more laid back, more fun, less neurotic, more kind of ironically playful and sexual in the culture. Is there a chance that could happen?
I hope so. I mean, one problem I think I've said before, America basically just has had a gigantic stick up its ass for the past 10 years. And it does, I mean, just from what I've been seeing a lot on X and from what I'm seeing online, Greg obviously our resident American can tell us how it feels on the ground. But from what I'm seeing, it does feel like America is finally getting that stick out of its ass and just being a bit more chill and learning how to have a good time again, rather than being fucking triggered by everything and feeling the need to woke scold and give hall monitor penalties to everyone for any minor infringement. It just feels like it's beginning to relax again.
With an extra element, Greg, before you answer that vulgarity has become more permissible than ever. That being crass is also there.
But I mean, that's part of it, and I like that. I think that you need that if you're going to have a chilled out culture that's not so uptight about everything. You have to take the good with the bad, and if some people want to be crass, then hey, that's it. But Greg, what's it like on the ground? What do you think?
You know,
I don't know if Greg's the right guy. Like he turns off the TV.
I know he's
sexy. So.
Yeah. I'm in the Midwest too, so like it never got even years ago. It never got super crazy in the Midwest. Like there were not people yelling at each other in stores about misgendering or appropriation or like that's all coastal shit. Like that really never did happen. But I think with the movies, the shows, what studios are doing, and a little bit here in the Midwest, like. Yeah, everybody. I think honestly, weirdly, COVID, I think, was like the best thing to happen to all of that woke scold culture, because as it went on and as everybody realized what a bunch of bullshit it was, and they realized that it only was perpetuated by everybody policing each other. And then we all went, wait a minute, I grew up in the 90s. All cops are bastards, even the fucking fun police and the mask police. So no, I'm not going to continue to do this shit. And then they started to look around, and it was like putting on the They Live sunglasses and realizing what a farce all of this shit was. And now I think a lot of folks are like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I'm not gonna be fucking tone policed anymore. So yeah, it's great.
Well, the careful distinction though, so we don't want America to turn into Florida and spring break, where it's crass and vulgar and grotesque and sleazy. But we do want that hint of irony.
Yourself? Why don't we? I want to go back to fucking David Lee Roth singing with bikini girls on the beach. Like, let's get as sleazy as possible.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So maybe the culture change.
I know it's an age thing, but but the fact that these people pretend that all advertising wasn't sexy 10, 15 years ago, like where were these people? I know it's an age thing. They're probably all young, but the saying was sex sells. Every ad used to be sexy. Everything used to be sexy. Movies used to be sexy. And they're pretending that this ad is over the top. I grew up with all ads being sexy, no clothes on, huge billboards, Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Kline, I was going to say. That's not his name.
And it never stopped for men. Like,
Calvin Klein.
There was all the woke era. You go and you look at, a men's clothes store, you're going to see jacked guys, perfect six-pack abs, underwear models, right? For men, that was always the standard. But then you go to the women's clothing section and you see some fucking literally 250-pound black blimp on the wall. Like, it was this hideous double standard as well.
I mean, Robert, if you had that famous Australian commercial, so where the bloody hell are you? Where the chick is on the beach. If that came out today, there would be tons of online griping from women with nose piercings and those horrible bangs where it's like the fringe at the front because they've got two large foreheads. But I think that commercial has been freeze-framed and been the subject of more frenetic, onanistic episodes of men than perhaps anything else. But if it came out today, it would maybe cause a bit of a stir. I don't know. Would she be?
I follow something online that shows old ads, old Australian ads. They showed one yesterday. There was an ad for making bread, and it's the old guy in the hut making bread. And the whole ad is all the women in the village are trying to have sex with him. They're all coming in with their boobs hanging out, and he's got to get the bread made. And it finishes him with him eating a bit of bread flat out so he can get amongst the woman with the pigs whose clothes are falling off. That was an ad for bread. And it's like 5 women losing their clothes trying to get these fat, ugly guys making the bread. So, yeah, it wasn't even that. Everything was advertised that way. And it's just, this ad is so non-confrontational.
What about a commercial where, like 10 years ago, and it was for a burger, and it had like women on the back of horseback on a beach in slow motion in bikinis eating the burger, like to create the cliched dopely dumb male ideal fantasy. So the actresses, the women involved in it, were in on the joke and in the irony. So what I'm asking is, can we get back to that, where you've got ironically codified boobs? Is what I'm saying. Can we get back to that?
like Hardee's was playing with that years ago. Do you guys remember the commercials? I don't remember the actress, but it was it was a good looking gal in a sundress, and the whole commercial was her eating a burger. I think they had like a chili burger, and the chili is like running down her arm, and she's licking it off, and it's like it's flopping all over and stuff. Or they had like billboards a while back with a big burger, and it just said "Grab both buns and eat it like a man." Just like they knew. It's very much like this. Like, you might say that this is over sexualized. Like, I've seen some of these videos, and I get it. If people have complaints, like, that's fine. But there's also like a wink to it of like, yeah, we're in on the joke too. We get it. We get that, like, her face isn't even in the advertisement half the time. Like, we're zooming in on her cleavage. Like, we're kind of it's kind of making fun of it while doing it at the same time. Sort of like that the Substance we were talking about a few months ago, where like it's these layers of irony where you can't tell if they're serious or not, and they're still doing it. And I don't know. They used to have fun with it.
It's pretty rare that any of these old ads weren't tongue in cheek or weren't sort of laughing at the guy making the bread. Like, it was always based in humor. But money will win in the end. Like that, it amazes me this shit's gone on for so long. The companies are losing money and going backwards to appease fucking idiots. Like, and this is just proving the point. You just do something that's fun, and it's a liking pretty things is a normal way to be. Like, the fact that they fight, that we're not meant to be attracted to the opposite sex or the same sex. If Greg wants to go that way and get all the boobs off TV, that's fine. But we're meant to be attracted to other people, and that's what sells things. Like, it blows my mind that there's an argument here, that we listen to these fucking idiots that whinge about it. I mean, they're funny to laugh at, but that, and there's on TV that the news is trying to report that there's a serious backlash, and that, no, 99% of normal people don't give a shit. They just think it's funny. So, yeah, it amazes me. But I think money will win in the end, and people will see that this works, and it'll start creeping back in. Thank God.
Touching on what Robothead said there, I think Jaguar, their sales went down 98% after that ad.
Killed the company.
Their car, the Jaguar 00. I'm not a car guy at all, but that is one of the ugliest fucking things I've ever seen.
It looks like a render.
That's getting released in January or February, something like that, like spring 2026, I think was the release date, and that could well kill the company. So,
well, I mentioned the financial difference between Bud Light opting for Dylan Mulvaney instead of Sydney Sweeney to front a campaign. That's literally between two individuals. That's probably $500 million. Incredible stuff.
Well, it's like you said, it's out of touch executives who simply cannot see the ground shifting under their feet. They didn't understand why their base would be so infuriated by the brand going trans. And, same with Jaguar, just horribly, horribly dated to the point where even the mainstream media were mocking it. Like, that's how bad it had gotten, but it was just out of touch idiots who are stupid and unqualified and simply not able to get their finger on the pulse of the culture and see what's really going on.
Well, the best example.
I have to interrupt everyone. Vex is in the chat. Vex, I need you to come up with a couple of examples of legitimate sex scenes in films that were artistic, a judicious directorial choice that added to the film, that were erotically engrossing and appealing to show Greg the error of his ways. So Vex, if you're in the chat, think it through. We'll give you a minute, and just a couple of sex scenes that you felt were intrinsically important to a plot and a story of a movie. So that's your little homework there. Sorry, Robert Ed, you were saying?
The best example of out of touch at the moment, speaking of Jaguar, is Dodge cancelling all their petrol muscle cars and bringing out an electric muscle car that has a speaker that imitates the sound of an engine. And it's already been cancelled. And I think they literally sold in like 200 or something in America, like models. And apparently there's thousands sitting in warehouses, and they just cannot sell these things. How insane do you have to be running a company that has lived and breathed selling V8 loud cars that can do burnouts and making an electric version and thinking people are going to buy it with a speaker at the back, which has to be the most embarrassing thing you could ever fucking possibly do. It's worse than not wanting boobs in movies is drive around in a car that's got a speaker out the back.
I actually have.
That was the plot
I have that car.
Comedy movie.
My family own a car like that. It's very tiny, and our son rides around in it, and he pushes a little button, and then the car goes vroom, vroom, vroom. And it also doesn't have a petrol engine. You actually have to push it. It requires kinetic force. So yeah, I admit I own one of those cars. Greg, do you ever buy one of those cars?
But I bet that car's not trying to sell itself as a muscle car. That's what Dodge did. Like they were trying to sell a muscle car. At least that car is probably sold to be pathetic. Where the Dodge
that was
that is not pathetic. You take that back. That is a Benz, or at least it has a little plastic Benz badge on it, and it's very tiny, but it's a bit all right. So don't call it pathetic.
There was a movie with Kevin James, and that was the plot. It was like he was an engineer that was trying to make an electric car that sounded and felt like a real V8 one. Somebody's got to remind. I got to find the title.
Well, Dodge watched that and actually built it. And again, we're talking about films coming out that are out of touch with how the world's going. That Dodge is going to disappear because of that one car. It's hilarious, and it blows my mind that made it out of the showroom and into the real world, and they exist, and they expect people to buy them.
Well, the thing with those engines as well is that they reverberate in a certain kind of way, and they even have like a rumble to them. Like you can, the rumble of that engine it's got that kind of guttural sound to it. But if you just got it like it's an MP3 playing in your stereo, it's the sound coming out of the back of your car. So it's not quite the same.
Unbelievably embarrassing. Like that is just worse than not liking Sydney Sweeney is driving one of those cars. Somehow the whole company got behind that and thought that was going to be popular.
I can't believe I came up with the phrase ironically codified boobs in this stream. I reached a certain level and phrases like that start to come in. You guys feel like talking about a little bit of politics?
hey, before you get into that, we're all doom and gloom, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited about the Running Man and about One Battle After Another. Have you seen the trailers for those?
No. Running Man turned me around in that one trailer. I thought the whole time, if there's a film you just don't need to remake, it's Running Man, because it's just such a film of its time, just macho. Great. It's awesome. I love it. And I thought I'll have no interest in it.
In fairness, they're not remaking it. I've tried.
That's the best thing they did.
Well, it's based on a book, so they're just going back to the book, and they're going to do a more faithful adaptation, apparently, because the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't. It's very different from the book, and in fact, I think it's a good example of when the film is better than the book, because I tried to read the Running Man book, and it's shite.
Well, that trailer sold me on, or maybe the book's good. so I went from not interested to watching that trailer to very interested. It looks great.
Well, in fact, we're going to do. I get to use this thing which I haven't done for a while.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry, Echo. Greg, what was the other one you mentioned? I will let you move on.
One Battle After Another. It's Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro, and it is like DiCaprio is a former revolutionary, and he's playing it like you can't tell if he still believes in whatever cause he was doing, or if he's like an old mushroomed, stoner that is now being chased by Sean Penn, who he once faced off with in the past or something. It looks. I don't know the right word to use. I don't want to say eclectic or weird, because I don't want to give it a comedy vibe, but it does. It looks interesting. It's the best word I can come up with. I don't know. I want to see it. I am dying to go see what this movie turns out to be. It looks like a lot of fun, but it also looks like it's got a lot of action. Chat says The Dilemma. That's the one. That's the one with Kevin James.
I have seen clips.
An electric car that sounds. It's a freaking Dodge Charger or something.
I have seen clips from that film you're talking about, but I had no idea what it was about. Apologies, Echo. I will not take over again. I just wanted to know what the other one was.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of pumped about that one, and Running Man. I think those look good.
Right. Well, Disput and I are going to duke it out with what I guess we're going to call unpopular takes. It's been a while since I played that. Right, so this is where each of us brings an unpopular take and has to kind of justify it, which is going to be difficult because mine is going to make people bristle, but I don't care because I want to be a provocateur. I want to stir the pot. And when I say it, here's what's going to happen. You're going to bristle initially, but then you're going to think it through and you're going to go, yeah, I'm mature enough to be able to accept, even in this cynical times that we live in, that I can have my mind changed, that that's not a threat to me, that rather it can be an expression of integrity, that I can be convinced. And so, in a couple of days, you're going to thank me for it, basically, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying that Back to the Future...
Yes, I will join your cult. Thank you very much.
Back to the Future is terribly overrated.
Oh, fuck off.
No, but that's not the thing, because we're going to do it. So time travel stories were already well worn by... No, this is my time to speak. This is my time to speak. I'm speaking now. Time travel stories were already well worn by 1985. Time after time, Time Machine, even Doctor Who. So it's not original new territory. Michael J. Fox is cool, but I don't care about Marty McFly. His life is kind of boring. And if you get down to it, he is actually quite boring as a character. The incest subplot is deeply awkward. Yes, they don't actually kiss beyond that one scene, but the fact that this is the central tension for most of the movie, his mum thirsting after him while he dodges her advances in a 1950s bedroom, it's awkward, it's strange. Even Greg, especially, it's a confluence of incest and sex on the screen at the one time. That's like anathema to him. George McFly, Crispin Glover, is either robotically stilted or comically exaggerated. He doesn't seem like a real person, more like a weird rubber puppet made out of social anxiety. So he's like a two-dimensional caricature. He's annoying to watch on screen, quite frankly. Doc Brown is entertaining, but only because of Christopher Lloyd's mania. Strip that away, and he's just a dangerously irresponsible adult who ropes a teenager into a death trap car he powers with stolen plutonium. And the soundtrack doesn't slap. So you remember Ghostbusters, Greg? Who you gonna call? Total banger. Yeah. Top Gun, Highway to the Danger Zone. Back to the Future gives us
Get it, Kenny.
Power of Love by Huey Lewis. So
banger,
rock,
absolute banger.
No, not a banger.
Look, I don't care that you don't like Back to the Future. You get Huey Lewis's name out your fucking mouth, okay?
Please. Other 80s blockbusters. Well, I'm not finished. Other 80s blockbusters had more emotional depth and real adventure. Back to the Future is competent and entertaining, but emotionally it's just okay. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm saying that you've all got this ridiculous nostalgia for it, which has escalated and gotten out of control, and you need someone who's more shrewd, who's more centered, who's able to tell you the hard truths and back it up with the evidence and take all the arrows that you're going to fire at me. So that's where it's at.
That was like watching someone get into a Kevorkian suicide chamber, closing the door and just saying, that's it. I've had enough. I want to end my life.
Look, there's a lot to address in your criticism, but I'll take it.
Yeah, because there's so much to criticize.
All right. So Marty is supposed to be that kind of slightly more dull character. He's like the still center around which all the craziness happens. Because if he was also a very extreme character with a highly accentuated personality, you would have him and you would have Doc Brown and you would have his father, who are already like that, and they would clash horribly. So it would create character dissonance. So he's not really he has a little bit of an arc, but he's not really supposed to have an arc. If you actually look at the movie, and this is one of the reasons I love it, Doc is the one that has the arc, especially over the course of the trilogy. Doc has a brilliant arc. He comes to realize that family is more important than the science. Human relationships are more important than his crazy scientific experiments. And the ending of Back to the Future 3 is one of my favorite endings of a movie. It's just perfect, and it completes Doc's arc. His father also has a really big arc. He is this kind of goofy caricature, but at the end of the movie, he feels much more real, much more like a real, proper, mature man. And that it works brilliantly for that reason. That the character dynamic I would describe in Back to the Future, I would describe it as perfect. To say the soundtrack is bad is insane. That's Alan Silvestri wrote one of the greatest scores of all. He's the same guy who did the Marvel, the Marvel theme. He's the same composer. Alan Silvestri wrote one of the greatest soundtracks of all time for Back to the Future. It's an absolute masterpiece. The main theme is one of the greatest themes ever written for a movie. And Huey Lewis and the News, they wrote a couple of fucking bangers for that movie. The scene travels back in time and he plays Johnny B. Good. That's one of the greatest movie scenes of all time. Back to the Future is a fucking masterpiece. It's a perfect movie. I got the poster right there to prove it.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Everyone just blathers on in a superficial way of saying, no, you're wrong. It's a masterpiece. It's like I'm being attacked by robot head criticisms on Twitter. There's I'm backing it up.
Hey, how am I meant to take that? Superficial. They're great points. It's one of the greatest. It could be argued to be the greatest trilogy ever made. I mean,
let's not do trilogy. Let's just this one episode in the franchise is what I'm talking.
Oh, you're just focusing on the first one, the best one.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I think all my points stand. Like, you guys are floundering around here. It's almost sad for me to watch you. Just
so,
Greg, any thoughts?
So what sorry, can you just repeat what was your problem with Marty?
Well, I think man character who's relatable, like the Peltzer character in Gremlins, for example, that's fine. But I just don't think that he's especially interesting at all. He's okay, is what I'm saying. He's fine. But I don't feel any particular emotional strength or feel any particular relief when he, at the end of the film, when his life is somewhat better. It's okay. It's not great. I don't know why everyone rates this as one of the top films of all time based off that performance as a relatable, endearing everyman. It's okay.
But I think he's perfect. I think Despo got it right. Like, it's like the madness is around him. He's holding the hand of the audience. Like, he's trying to just make it through this crazy story, make it make sense. And all the craziness and the personalities are around him. It's all happening to him. And like, as the audience, that's who we're going with. I think he's perfect.
Yeah, but do you feel an emotional, intense catharsis at the end of that film where it feels richly warm at the end in that way that 80s can do?
I think yes, because what I like about the plot of this one is that it gives you all the fun, but at this and at the same time has the characters learn that all of these personal ambitions and the Doc being the loner and Marty just not wanting to live a simple family man life and all of this, it teaches them that those things are not great, but also without not slapping them. But also, you, the audience, still get to go on an adventure, and you don't have to feel bad about it either. So you get all the fun. You still learn a fun moral lesson. Everybody has a nice journey and learns that lesson at the end, and it does it without bugging anybody, the audience or the characters. It's great.
And the incestuous part is the comedy of the film. Like, it's like if they played it that they were into it, but he's not, like, he's freaking out about it. Like, it's an amazing part of the film. Like, he doesn't want to hit on his mum. Like, but I don't understand.
Yeah, even though his mum is hot, sometimes when I watch that film, I was thinking, man, would you, even if it was your mother? Because she's here, like,
Jesus. Yeah. And here's the thing for you, Vex Electronica, is that I was
no boobs, but maybe incest.
This is outrageous. I have to respond to Vex because this is an outrage. I'll tell you about the real boy. The real boy was the boy who was following the arc of is it Gordy in Stand By Me, the sensitive boy who's also the writer. I was the boy who was up in the attic of the school reading the never-ending story with Falcor the dragon at the end. That's the boy I was. So
no, you're in the school clock tower trying to take out people that were having fun talking to girls. That's
not true. What I'm saying is that I've shown you emotional allegories or analogs at the time, which shows that the 80s could have a beauty to it, a richness to it emotionally. And then this film comes out, which is fine. It's a good thrill ride. It's a fun and daring premise. What I'm saying is that you've all mythologized it and you've turned it into this thing that isn't really.
Right.
And again, you'll thank me.
We got, after my section, we got 16 super chats to get to. So
yeah, that's true. Okay. So anyway, but you're up.
All right. So my controversial, unpopular opinion is that The Dark Knight is extremely overrated. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It isn't. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's a great movie. And I will explain why people do think it's a great movie. I would compare The Dark Knight to an album which has maybe 4 or 5 absolute fucking bangers on it. And so people think it's a great album. They say it's a masterpiece. But what they forget is that it also has 7 really mid songs on it, like 6 mid songs and 1 really shit song. And everybody just ignores those and talks about the bangers. And it's like, no, you can't just pay attention to like the best scenes in The Dark Knight. And the Joker's, he's great. But even the Joker, there's problems with his character. And there's a little bit of character dissonance, I think, and I'll get to that. So they love to pay attention to the highs, but they never talk about the lows. And there are plenty of lows. There's plenty of dull stuff in there. I mean, I have a video, which is actually one of my most watched videos. It's vaguely bizarre, about how the opening scene doesn't make any sense. And it's this terrible plan. The Joker has a terrible plan. And one of the biggest responses in the comment section is, it's because the Joker is an agent of chaos. Don't you understand? He's an agent of chaos. If he's an agent of chaos, then why does he come up with this extremely intricate plan that is the complete opposite of chaos? And he does this repeatedly. He comes up with these very intricate plans. Like, he's able to infiltrate a funeral by posing as a police officer. He captures the old police officers, puts on their... Do you know how much planning goes into that? It's an extremely intricate, complex plan. That's not what you... That's not the action of an agent of chaos. That's a guy sitting down for many hours to think about a plan and have all these different moving parts. The scene logistics in many scenes are nuts. Like, there's a scene where a city official walks toward the window after making a comment about the Joker, and just as he approaches the window, a body falls onto the window. Much of it is just so contrived and convenient. For example, when Batman goes to Hong Kong to capture the Chinese billionaire, what does the Chinese billionaire do when he realizes that the building has been infiltrated and it's probably Batman? Does he go to his safe room? Does he just go to a random floor where Batman won't be able to locate him? No, he pulls out a gun and goes after Batman. Now, why does this man do this, despite the fact that he has plenty of bodyguards who can take down Batman? So because the plot needs to happen, because the plot needs Batman to capture him and bring him back to Gotham. It's really, really lazy writing. The mob are a pack of morons who just trust the Joker and hire him because, hey, we got to get rid of Batman. And this utter lunatic who we know very little about, he says he can get rid of him. It does have its highs, but man, there's a lot of dumb stuff in that movie, a lot of contrivance, and a lot of boring scenes. You know, it has these really fun, high-octane action scenes, but a lot of the scenes are just fucking dull. The romantic subplot between Maggie Gyllenhaal and Bruce just never really took off for me at all. It was a very tepid subplot. It's a shit subplot. And if you look at any of the reviews, nobody ever talks about the romantic subplot because it fucking sucked and it didn't work and they didn't have good chemistry and it never took off. So people just ignore it. They pretend it's not there. It sucks. Yes, it has its amazing moments too. Like when the Joker takes over the dinner party. It's a fucking incredible scene, but it also has a lot of scenes that suck. It's an overrated movie. There you go. I'm done.
Well,
Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's the most hot about that movie.
The music, I like a lot of Hans Zimmerman, a lot of his scores. I'll give examples. You know, I think Last Samurai, absolutely brilliant. June, especially June Part 2, brilliant score. Interstellar, excellent score. His score for The Dark Knight is shite. So anyway, there you go.
Right. Well,
just a quick side note. Sorry, did you see they played the Interstellar score in a church in a cathedral somewhere in Spain? Did you see that online?
I might check that out actually.
Yeah, it looked amazing, and they packed this cathedral, and they did the soundtrack. Anyway, looked quite good. It just popped up on Instagram or somewhere. I saw it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Rolling Stones' "Let It Bleed." That's an album which has 4 absolute bangers on it. "Give Me Shelter" and "Can't Always Get What You Want," and maybe 7 other songs which are kind of like dirty, grimy Chicago blues or swampy Southern blues, which are maybe not those greater tracks. But it's the Rolling Stones, so together it becomes an album where even the lesser tracks are livened by the fact of it being the Rolling Stones and by those other bangers, which make everything better. So that elevates it in that sense. He is a chaos agent because even though he will intricately plan things, it's always in service of a wider theme of nihilism and chaos. He gets the money at the beginning from the bus, but he doesn't really care about the money. He sees the money as a way that something that can ultimately burnt, as a way to just... He's interested in escalation. That's what fascinates him. And he doesn't even especially care about being that Machiavellian. He doesn't even especially care about his own life.
Here's definitely the best part about it. The Joker's
Batman is coming towards him on the bike, and he's saying, "Come on, do it." He's even excited in the moment.
The Joker is a brilliant character, and he's by far the best part of the movie. The problem is a lot of the stuff that happens around the rest of the movie is just so dull and forgettable that people literally forget about it.
Yeah, but you've got at least maybe you get to a transition point where once 6 moments, I'd agree with you, 7, but you've got 10 moments that are strung along in quite a close sequence that are furiously kinetic. And you've got an incredible Joker who comes on the screen and you can almost smell the bad breath of this character. He's perfectly realized. He's a perfect nihilist. You've got the moral tensions of Commissioner Gordon behind the glass screen saying he's in control, while Batman is pummeling and attacking the Joker. And you've got the Joker. It's a real nasty irreverence. He finds the nihilism. There's an irreverence in that, which takes it up to a whole new level. I agree. There's a whole bunch of crap in there, but you could look at a whole bunch of classic films and you could say that there's clutter in there.
Like I said, it's a good movie. I think it's a far better movie than the vast majority of superhero slop that comes out today. I don't expect there to be another superhero movie that good for many years. But the way people talk about it, they act like it's one of the greatest movies ever made, and it's absolutely not.
Well, you can talk me down from one of the greatest ever made, but you won't talk me down from its almost a unique and singular, brilliant exercise in filmmaking, which elevated, for me, superhero films. That's where I want it to be. It's pitch perfect for a superhero film. That's what makes it singular, and that's what makes it so special. So that's.
Does anybody else want to speak on this before we move on to Greg?
Oh, I mean, I guess I got to try, although I don't think it's that hot of a take. No, it is. It's the best movie ever. It's the best movie in the trilogy, as a matter of fact, because it builds on the foundation from the first movie. Ra's al Ghul convinces Batman that he's going to have to make hard choices, and Batman thinks that he can have both. But this movie proves that he can't. And your assertion that the romantic bit is tepid, that plays into the point, because Maggie Gyllenhaal's character never actually liked Bruce to begin with. That's why those scenes don't feel good. It was a meta commentary on the unrequited love that he felt, and so that's why it worked really well. And I don't know, I'm out of words. I don't know.
What's your unpopular opinion, Greg?
I think the Thunderbolts was really good. 7, maybe 8 out of 10. I think that this movie was far, far better than people give it credit for. And I think it's far better than it should have been, given the pieces that they were set up to work with. They were handed a John Walker that didn't have any kind of setup, and they tried to make him to be a villain in the show, which absolutely did not work. And they used him to the best ability that they could. They were handed a bunch of no-name characters, one of which they brilliantly just shot in the face in the first 5 minutes, which I thought was the most elegant solution. I think I wish they would have also done it to Ava, the ghost, as well. I think that was a fantastic move. When you're delivered a pile of crap, you pick the small bits and you throw away the big chunk. And that's what they did with the Taskmaster. I think that was a brilliant move. I think that it approached the idea of these B-tier heroes with a bad past in an intelligent way that made them wrestle with all of the things that they had done and what they were blaming themselves for, even though most of them had no reason to, which was a really great commentary on imposter syndrome and how a lot of us do the exact same thing. We wrestle with things that we don't have control over at all. And so, again, I wish it were a 9 or a 10, but I think that what they had to work with and what they pulled out from what they were given, I thought they cobbled together a really, really strong movie that did a good job telling the themes that they were going for. That imposter syndrome, that blaming yourself for stuff, that trying to move on from bad decisions in the past. Overall, I thought it was fun. I had a very good time with it. I thought that the characters that I liked were given respect. I thought Red Guardian was fantastic. I think Walker did a really good job. The only one that I don't think was super strong was Yelena, honestly. They tried to take her too seriously. Overall, my whole family liked it. I'm looking to stream it again. I thought it was a strong movie, and I give it more points for being better than it had any right to be with what they were handed.
All right. Well, Robot Head, if we can take it as a given that my take on Back to the Future is the winner, who are you putting in second place between Greg and Lisbeth?
Your one makes me question if I'm ever going to talk to you again. It's
Is it my equivalent of the underarm delivery?
Sorry, Greg, I haven't seen that film at all, so I can't comment on Greg. So
you're
maybe I'll
putting
make Greg
him
the winner.
All right.
I'm not offending anyone. I'm picking the person that I don't even know if he's right.
All right, well, we've got to jump into some super chats while we're here. M8566, patron saint, presiding saint of this channel, gifted 5 Echo Chamberlain memberships. I hope there isn't a finite number of them because, inmates 566 is probably scraping the barrel of memberships that are available in cyberspace. But we do thank you, inmate 566. Hey, Robot Head, what was your favorite part of Sheev Talks and/or video?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Yes, I don't know. I don't get to watch many other people's videos. You guys probably know when you make videos, there's not a lot of time to watch other people's videos.
Yeah, I find
no,
that.
I haven't seen it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but yes, you can tell me if there's good bits. Do I get a mention at all? Sometimes I get mentioned in these videos. I don't even know.
John Evans for the 2. Thoughts on the Sweeney ad backlash? Well, I think we've covered that in forensic, almost autistic detail. So, yeah, hopefully we've answered all your questions, John, earlier in the chat. Gary Barber, member for 5 months. I'd guess the way Gunn and his brother talked about Superman before the movie and the bad trailers cost them around 100 million. No, I think they kept it pretty restrained. They managed to sort of tone it down. They didn't do... It was the whole refugee thing, but that kind of lasted a day or two and then flamed out. So I don't think they did too badly. Chris Schick for the 20. Greg gave us an Oscar-worthy performance in Despote's last video. Am I right, boys?
He did a great job.
You got to give us Dr. Greg.
Somebody was asking for an all right, boys, about Sydney as well.
Yeah, Greg did a great job. All the comments were positive. A lot of people in the comment section were loving Greg's Dr. Greg performance. Oscar nominated, actually.
Excellent. Mike Hunt for Australia, $5. For a commie TV show, Star Trek's Prime Directive is pretty based and red-pilled. There's a lot of words in there. Prime Directive is pretty based. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're not trying to impose themselves, I guess. He's right. Gary Barber again for the 10. Star Trek is a lost franchise. Yes, it is. It's more dead than Little Rascals. That's an interesting comparison. But yeah, it is an emotionally hollowed out franchise which has been made aesthetically and culturally nasty and unpleasant, which is very strange.
Which one do you think would be easier to save? Star Trek or Star Wars?
Well, Andor shows that you can do it, but if you're going to get back to the golden times of 80s Star Trek, that's a long way back. I don't think they can do it.
I think if you were to shitcan, I mean, if Kathleen Kennedy would have when she dies, basically, and someone else takes over, there might be some shred of hope. But Star Trek, I think, is pretty much gone forever.
Indiana Jones, Mike Hunt for $5. Rarely beat a bad guy without getting hurt. It's not like he was an unstoppable killing machine. I miss just the meaty sounds of punches in Indiana Jones films. Just sounds like
a car crash.
No, it sounds like you're punching like a hanging meat thing in an abattoir.
Yeah, you're doing a Rocky.
Yeah, such a great sound. Whoops. Back to Mike Hunt here again for the $2. Even Jar Jar couldn't kill Star Wars. Yeah, I guess that's true. Felonious Hack gifted 1 Echo Chamberlain membership. Well, that's nice. I appreciate that, Felonious. Zodlander for what? Is that a South Korean currency? What is that?
No idea what that is.
Have you watched Metatron's vid about this trailer?
That was
we must be talking about.
That was
Metatron's an ancient history YouTuber, and he would talk about that trailer, but at the same time, that's Spartacus isn't going for historical accuracy. It's hyper reality. It's basically a comic book almost show based in the idea, the aesthetic. It really just uses the aesthetic of ancient Rome. It has no interest in historical accuracy, and it doesn't make any pretense to having any interest in historical accuracy. So, and I think Metatron is smart enough to know that. I honestly think he's just content farming, but maybe still a good video.
Joshua, mod extraordinaire, upon which everything depends, for $4.99. What's your favorite movie of 2025 so far? For me, it's F1 followed by Warfare, which are only 2 of 3 I'd rate above a 5 out of 10 of the 26 I've seen.
Jesus, 26 films.
Yeah. God,
I've probably seen, I don't know if I've seen that many from 2025. I've seen a lot. My favorite's K-pop Demon Hunters, masterpiece.
K-pop Demon Hunters. That's a 10 out of 10 movie right there. It's fantastic.
Have you seen that Robot Head? I can't imagine you have. Can't imagine it's
No, I haven't seen that one. I'll put it on the list though. Any boobs in it?
Animated boobs, but not full frontal boobs. Animated boobs.
Mips.
No
You'll
nips,
be surprised, I think, by how much you like it. It is really, really good.
Joshua again for the 5. Good news. 2026 should be better with films from Nolan, Spielberg, Scorsese, Eggers, Villeneuve, Raimi, Flanagan, Lord and Miller, and a full Spidey movie. Yeah, that's if there's any super chat which has actually legitimately lifted my spirits in the last 3 or 4 months, this would be it. Look at that. That's a pretty good suite of names right there.
Don't take that personally, everyone else that did a super chat. We do appreciate and love you.
Yeah. But Nolan's Odyssey,
Josh
that
gets
could be
extra
good.
points for being such a damn good mod.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That actually looks pretty good. Yeah, Ballistic Mech for the 10. Aussie there. Despot. Can you give us a distorted "Am I right, boys" for Sydney Sweeney?
I absolutely would, but my daughter is napping right now, so I have to keep my voice down. But I promise if on the next stream she's not, then I will do "Am I right, boys" at the start of the next stream.
Okay, it's locked in, Ballistic Mech. It's locked in. It's airtight. Yeah. Joshua again, member for 6 months. Can Rags and Fringy guest soon? That'd be great. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm yet to sort of get through that membrane of that whole EFAP thing, but I'm sure that'd be great. It'd be really good. And it'd probably be unusual for them to be on it for like 2.5 hours. So they'd probably appreciate it. I'll get in touch with Mauler and see if he can get me in touch. M8566, again, patron saint, trying to convince me that Maggie Gyllenhaal is beautiful, is most unbelievable part of The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's the thing that I never like. You see Bruce Wayne walking through the door with these 2 fucking stunners. He's got like some Russian opera singer, just one of the most 10 out of 10 stunningly beautiful woman, and he's simping after Maggie Gyllenhaal. Like, come on,
Get into stretch.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, her physique was a little too awkward somehow. I can't quite put my finger on it.
She's just a plain Jane. I'm not saying she's a bad-looking girl, but she's a plain Jane for an average Joe. She's not fucking billionaire, mate. Like he's gonna go after.
When he's picking who to save, it's no surprise that he doesn't go for her.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah, I don't know. She had a cultural moment. Maybe she was supposed to project a kind of like homely kind of empathy that we're supposed to like. I don't know. M8566, again for 11 months. Dedicates about half the video to Robot Head, lol. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, at least he must like me. I'm guessing he says all good things about me.
Oh, yeah.
That's what usually happens.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. I was going to do some political stuff about boats, but I don't think we really have the time for it. So all that really remains is for me to go around the horn and ask everyone what they've got going on. So, Despot, what can you tell the folks? Good job bouncing back from the Boyle incident, I guess we'll call it now, with a nice popular video after that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I have a Danny Boyle video currently in copyright prison, but Disney aren't going to respond to my dispute, so that'll be up on August 20th, I think. But on maybe, what day is it? Wednesday, maybe on Sunday or Monday, I'll be releasing a video about The Force Awakens. I've never actually done a review of any of the Disney sequel movies. So, and because it's almost been a decade since they released The Force Awakens, I decided to do a retrospective because I've actually never seen that movie since I saw it in cinema. So I went back and watched it, and I'm going to be honest, I know that its reputation suggests it's the best of the Disney sequel trilogy and is kind of entertaining and maybe even mid. I went back and watched it, and tell you what, man, it's absolutely terrible. It's so shockingly awful. I was genuinely surprised at how bad it is. So that's my next video topic.
What's the length of it going to be?
My video is going to be about 45 minutes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm interested to see how yours does. Are you going to have any particular angle to it? Is it just going to be straight? This is a retrospective.
Well, I'm trying to skip over the most common, almost cliche criticisms. Like it's a knockoff of A New Hope. I just do a little bit on that, and then I literally say, okay, you know all this. It's been done to death. Let's move on. There is one aspect of the movie that I identified as being insufferable, which I have never seen in any other review. And it was really interesting. So watch out for that, because it's a really, really horrible part of the movie that I thought, oh my God, this is awful, but nobody's ever talked about it.
Greg, what can you tell the folks?
Well, first of all, you should go check out. I guest starred in a video with Despot. That is his one on, what was the title? Hang on, I can look up the title. About skin. There was a short film that won an Oscar. And it's I was part of a rewrite that he did, which was far better sounding than what that friggin' movie was. But I did a video about game monetization and how companies try to trick you into spending money, which I'll be working on trying to get a better thumbnail. And then later this week, I've got a video about characters that you weren't supposed to like, and then they tried to remind you how much you weren't supposed to like them, and it still didn't work out. And that's going to be the first one with an editor that I'm hiring. So actually, I'm about to go. I have a rough draft that he just sent me, so I'm going to go preview that, and hopefully it looks far more professional than my normal stuff. I'm kind of excited to see what he's got going on.
I did like the while it's on my mind, the little meta moment where in a video you're complaining about computer games and video games that take your money and elicit in kind of grotty ways, and then you tied that into wanting to get subs, and then you had an image of you giving yourself the finger whilst editing on your computer. Lots of meta layers in that, which I appreciated.
It's just it's another character. Oh, editor Greg. He's surly.
And Robot Head, today's featured guest. What can you tell the folks?
Well, I just did a video on Rian Johnson confirming he's not doing any more Star Wars films, which was just, I felt like I had to do because I'm pretty much over talking about Star Wars. And what am I doing next? I've got to work out what to do next. I'm not sure. So, yes, but come and visit the Desperate for Views. It'd be good if anyone could come and visit a lonely robot. That'd be good. And something I didn't tell you before when you asked me about losing the channel, when I got it back, I released a video trying to do the right thing, and it did very poorly. And then YouTube told me, even though we know you have the channel back, we halt promoting your channel at all or any of your videos for at least a couple of weeks to make sure it's you. So that was interesting.
Wow. Very strange. They could have told you that beforehand, maybe.
Yeah, don't get hacked.
So you heard it here. Robot Head is being screwed. He's had a fucking rough go, but recently, so just head over to his channel and watch some videos.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Well, so that's it, folks. Very pleasant stream. All that remains for me to do is to thank Despot of Antrim, Robot Head, and Mr. Greg Owen, and leave you as we always do with thoughts and reflections culled from the internet to see us out. So, kakiti ano, and we'll see you on the next stream.